time. Don't miss Eric Marola's latest documentary, The God Cells, a story about a unique stem cell treatment that has the potential to change the face of medicine.
I have not had one pain episode since the end of December. First time in 18 years. I am totally pain-free and medication-free.
I'm so excited. It's so exciting. For the first time, I see the light in the end of the tunnel.
I'm Eric Marola. I love telling stories about exciting scientific innovations that have the potential to change the course of history.
For more information, go to stemcellsmovie.com.
Hi, Debbie. You're at.
And sign
I've
up
seen
to
you guys in a
Eric
while.
Marola's mailing list. Marola's Brzezinski, Second Opinion, and The God Cells are available on Amazon Prime Video. Don't miss Eric Marola on the
Susie Richardson, you coming in here tonight?
Now it's time for my poetry corner and my favorite poet, Fela Cedarbaum, aka Mano Dano. And her
Mike Jackson, how
poetry,
are you?
I must admit, it touches my heart all the time, and I absolutely encourage you to explore Fela's
We'll be on in
beautiful
about
art. You
3
will never
minutes.
ever regret it. So please check
Exactly
out her
3 minutes.
website, manodano.com.
Mano Dano.
Here is
Whatever
Fela
that is.
Cedarbaum. Listen.
We're doing ratings despite having Lola Nash ahead of us.
Dance with me and hold me tight. Dance with me all
In
through the
spite of
night. Dance with me, hips onto hips.
Oh, here we go.
Until they liken lovers' lips.
Here we go with the
Talk
beautiful
with me
poetry.
and hold me tight. Talk
Mano
with me all through the
Dano.
night. Talk with me as mind to mind.
Chuck, you can repeat this to your
Until there's
girlfriend.
just one in
This
kind.
beautiful poetry.
I'll be like a young Dr. Seuss.
Those who know, but
Simon Jacob, it's late, man. What are you doing up?
cracked my
Thanks for
heart in
watching.
two. Now it's whole because it flew into your arms, spread
11:30,
open
12:30, 1:30, 2:30, 3:30, 4:30, 5:30 in the morning.
Inside where our hidden places tingle, where love exuberantly mingles. Dream with me and hold me tight. Dream with me all through the night.
Oy vey, Ishmael.
Dream with me, our deepest self, until it flies free like an elf.
Mano Dano.
Take my hand and hold me tight. Take my hand all through the night. Take my hand with gentlest touch, with the heart I love so
Remember, if
much.
you want to listen to, Nielsen doesn't know that you're watching on Facebook. So if
I
you
will
want
sing to you my
to, if you're
words.
not locally here, if you go to
Those who
WABCradio.com,
know, but have not heard.
click on the red listed live button, you get the show that way. Just if you
You have
want to do that.
cracked my heart in two. Now it's whole because it flew into your arms, spread open wide. Come, my love,
Oh, she is annoying me.
where our hidden places tingle,
Oh,
where love exuberantly wrinkles.
30 seconds.
So beautiful.
So
I promise
beautiful.
I'll feature Fela again on my next episode. Unfortunately, it's time to wrap up the show. Time flies. I know. But the only thing I can say now is don't miss my next episode. And what else? Please don't forget, follow me on Facebook, Twitter, Instagram, and my handles are so easy to remember. It's just
All right,
Yola
but-
Nash or Yola Nash Show.
All right, boys,
And
let's
don't
do it.
forget, all episodes are available on podcasts, on WABC, on iTunes, and many, many more. So until next time, stay well, be happy. I'm Yola Nash.
The Yola Nash Show.
WABC, New York. The following program does not necessarily reflect the views of WABC Radio. It's Saturday evening. Time for Talking Sports. Here's your host, Jonathan Friedman.
It is Saturday evening, and we are talking sports right here on 77 WABC. I'm John Friedman, Bruce Clayton is on the other side of the glass. Bruce, how are you? Chuck is our call screener. Charles, what's happening?
Not much, Johnny. How about you?
All is good. Lots to talk about in the next 2 hours. You bring it. We'll talk about it. Give us a call on the Gotta Go to Mo's call-in line at 800-848-9222. That's 800-848-WABC. Models.com. Also, we're streaming the show. Go to WABCradio.com. Click on that red Listen Live button, and you'll get us on your mobile device, laptop, etc., and enjoy the show on the World Wide Web. Also, you can watch the show. We're streaming live on Facebook and YouTube. Type in Talking Sports with Jonathan Friedman. It's public, it's live, it's right there. Lots to cover in the next 2 hours, including 6 new members will be inducted tomorrow in baseball's Hall of Fame in Cooperstown. We'll discuss. In the first hour of the show, Ryan Dunleavy, who covers the beat of the New York Football Giants for NJ Advanced Media, will join us. Major League Baseball's trading deadline is approaching. We'll take a look at that. Tomorrow is the final round of the last major in golf. We'll take a look at that also. We'll see what's happening with the Yankees and the Mets. Chuck will keep us updated on scores and finals throughout Major League Baseball. Your calls and a lot more. And speaking of calls, give us a call on the Gotta Go to Mo's call-in line at 800-848-9222. That's 800-848-WABC. Models.com. Well, last week we were here. We were all discombobulated. We had the blackout here. Chuck wasn't here. Jeff wasn't here. They were stuck downstairs. We're all here. Actually, Jeff's not here. We're waiting for him to get in. He comes in from Long Island. And tomorrow is a big day in baseball. Tomorrow we induct 6 new members to the Baseball Hall of Fame, and Mariano Rivera. Everybody knows who that is here. The late Roy Halladay, Mike Mussina, Edgar Martinez, Lee Smith, and Harold Baines. Is Chuck, as a Yankee fan, that's got to be a special day for you. You got kind of one guy going in, but you got Mariano Rivera going in also.
It kind of feels surreal because, as you all know, I'm a pretty young guy, so to see guys that I grew up watching going into Hall of Fame, it's kind of like, wow, I'm starting to get old.
And does Mike Mussina go in as a Yankee, or does he go in as an Oriole?
I think he's going in as with
a combo.
To be honest, I want him to go in as Yankee. And true story, Mussina was my favorite Yankee pitcher growing up.
Yeah.
So this is kind of an emotional weekend for me. And it's pretty cool to see. I'm very happy for him. I remember going to all the games screaming Moose in the stands. So.
He had a lot of Greg Maddux in him. The way he could kind of paint corners and kind of do things with the ball. He was a solid pitcher.
And the crazy thing about him is that he pitched his entire career in the AL East, and he put up some pretty respectable numbers. Now they weren't like great, like Hall of Fame, Hall of Fame numbers.
Well, I hope they're Hall of Fame numbers. He's going into the Hall of Fame.
But pitching in the AL East in the steroid era, you gotta give the guy some props.
No doubt about it. And you obviously Mariano Rivera. What a closer! I mean,
unbelievable.
The guy, and he just had, even when he would have, and they were very little of those times when he would give up the big home run in big spots. Didn't matter to him. His blood was thick.
Yeah.
It just didn't matter. And he's, what's best about him? He's a good guy.
Yeah, very good guy, very humble, very emotional. Came from nowhere in Panama, and now he's I know he is the greatest closer of all time.
No doubt.
And I think what's weird with Mariano was that throughout all my years watching him, I don't think I ever saw him shook, so to say.
Right. He never was rattled. Never got rattled.
There are times where I watch Chapman pitch, and this guy's just dripping in sweat.
Yeah.
The cap of the bill of his cap is dripping. But Mariano, I never seen that guy startled in any way.
We could borrow from the late Stuart Scott. He's as cool as the other side of the pillow.
Exactly.
Right? And then you got Edgar Martinez. You think he was happy about the DH?
I believe that he should have been in earlier. And
probably.
I felt bad.
Yeah,
and I don't think that they should have took the liability defensively like that.
Well, and he was mainly a DH. He's known as a DH, that guy.
But he made the DH position.
No doubt about
And
it.
I remember growing up, whenever the Yankees played the Mariners, he was a bat that I was afraid of in the middle of that lineup.
Oh, no doubt. And then you got Lee Smith, and in the 80s, Lee Smith was a good closer. He was good. You know, you got to go sometimes. You got to go sometimes decades. And in the 80s, he was bad. You know, when he came in for Chicago, you know, he could close it down. He threw the ball hard also. We'll talk about throwing the ball hard. I knew I sent you guys that thing on J.R. Richards earlier in the week that we spoke about him, how great he was. And then there's Harold Baines. You talk about a great offensive player who could put the ball. He was Rod Carewish, could put the ball anywhere he wanted to go, and great hitter. He played for the White Sox for a lot of his career, so that hurt him a little bit in regards to people knowing him and stuff. But what a nice class of Hall of Famers that are going in. And I'm a little surprised right now, by the way, with the Major League Baseball deadline coming on, kind of nothing happening. And all of a sudden, Johnny's eating some words here. Last week, I think I said, man, the Giants stink. And all of a sudden, they were a game or 2 games under 500. All of a sudden, Baumgarten's not going anywhere. If he is, it's going to cost you a lot of prospects to get him.
I think it was perfectly said last night that even though now the Giants are in the thick of a wild card race, they have guys on that team that have been through it before, and they're battle tested. So that's a team that might not fold under pressure, and maybe they keep this up over the last 2 months of the season.
Well, originally in the beginning of the week, they had 4 or 5 games out of the wild card, but had 8, 9 teams to jump. Now, I didn't look in the last 2 days, but all of a sudden they were a game or 2 games out of the wild card, and it can't be 8 or 9 teams to jump now.
Yeah. I think the most important thing for teams this time of the year is to be either at 500 or above 500.
Yeah,
if you're
and get on a roll.
500, you're pretty much done.
Yeah, and get on a roll. All of a sudden teams don't want to have to face the wild card and stuff. Don't forget, they've got for example, they've got an Evan Longoria on that team.
Right.
Guys like that on the team that can play.
They've been battle tested.
Right.
Buster Posey, Brandon Bell.
Yeah.
Brandon Crawford, Joe Panic.
So if they get some pitching, obviously they're not going to win in their division. That's not going to happen, but they're going to fight for the wild card. So it should be really good. So we got a lot to do tonight. We've got my man Ryan Dunleavy, who covers the beat of the New York Football Giants for NJ Advanced Media. You and I know it better as the Star Ledger. He'll drop by in just a little while. Coming up also, we've got What Do You Think, Marty? Brought to you by B&B Metro Insurance. For all your insurance needs, go to bnbmetro.com. We got a lot of sports news going on. I found some really cool things. The guy who started, one of the original guys who started the roller derby passed away this week. We're going to talk about him. Roller derby, what roller derby has done for wrestling back in the day and even today is unbelievable. In New York City, roller derby was a big thing right downstairs here or at the other garden was a big deal. We'll talk about that guy. We'll talk a little news from college basketball, a little NBA news. We got NFL training camps. We got Major League Baseball. We got a lot to do tonight, and Jeff Lax will join us. I guess he's on a train coming in from Long Island, so he'll be here. We'll have a lot of fun here. And in a few weeks, August, I believe 3rd, Vic DiBattista will come back and join us. He has a gig somewhere, but he's going to call us from his car on August 3rd, probably about the 12 o'clock midnight hour. So we got a lot to do, and Thankfully, we're not under a blackout. We've got it all together here, and you can give us a call on the Gotta Go to Mo's call-in line at 800-848-9222. That's 800-848-WABC. I'll tell you what, Bruce, let's take a quick break. And when we get back, we got What Do You Think, Marty? I understand he's got a little business to give me. We got a lot more. We got Major League Baseball. We got NFL training camps. You're listening to Talking Sports on a Saturday evening with me, John Friedman. Give me a call on the Gotta Go to Mo's call-in line at 800-848-WABC. We'll be right back.
What Do You Think, Marty? Is sponsored by Brown & Brown Metro. They do insurance from homeowners, automotive, workers' compensation, business insurance, group health.
Sorry about the open, man.
Yeah, I was
fighting for the light. If I ever forget to hit your mic, it's on there.
All right. No big deal. It
And
happens.
that's Talk at the Studio.
Yeah, that's fine. You need to push any of these off or not?
No, you're
Okay.
That's the off
Yeah.
button. But if you want to talk to us, even when your mic's
I
on.
wasn't even talking. Until I saw the light, I say it. No problem.
I'm going to go get
Many doctors in the U.S. and Canada have chosen the Back Institute for their own care. Experts in non-traumatic spine surgery. No cutting, no bleeding, no drilling, no scarring. With offices in New York City, Philadelphia, and Beverly Hills. BackInstitute.com offers information about new non-traumatic techniques. Visit Back Institute online at BackInstitute.com or give them a call at 800-956-6724. That's 800-956-6724. Back Institute, award-winning spine surgeons and physicians.
This week's luxury Jersey City apartment from the KRE Group is a gorgeous one-bedroom, one-bath apartment home facing north, overlooking Jersey City with a beautiful view of the Manhattan skyline at Journal Square. This 652-square-foot home, an open-concept layout with modern design, stainless steel kitchens, quartz countertops, luxuriously appointed bathrooms, full-size washer and dryer and unit, central heating, cooling, and much more. Their leasing office is open 7 days a week, and you can reach them at info@journalsquared.com or give them a call at 201-659-7100. Check out KRENJC.com for more details.
Advertisers trying to reach potential customers in today's fast-paced, technology-driven world are having a difficult, if not impossible, time figuring out how to do so. There are so many options, from the traditional media to the practically limitless digital and social platforms that are available, making it harder than ever for businesses to get their message in front of the right audience. There is a solution, however, and it's called SCG Advertising and Public Relations. SCG is a full-service advertising and public relations agency that can help you navigate through today's chaotic media landscape and reach your potential customer. We help our clients strengthen their relationships, reputations, and brands by integrating your message across the entire media spectrum. The folks at SCG understand the options available to advertisers and will work with you to determine the best creative and media plan for your business. So learn more about us by visiting SCGADV.com.
Feel better?
Feel better?
Migraine
We'll
was
help
tough.
you reach your customers, all of them.
That's right.
WABC with Bernie and Sid in the morning. Brian Kilmeade.
Not only did they act heroically at that time,
Yeah.
they were given bad information. The air is fine. It's okay to be down there. And 5 or 6 years later,
We already got
tumors.
Dave on Franklin Square on this, so we'll go to Marty first, and then we'll do
John,
it.
I got Ryan on hold.
Yeah, tell him he's gonna probably be on. He'll be on hold for about 10 minutes, just so he knows.
Should we go to him first or?
No, I want to get Marty over with.
All right, so, all right.
77 WABC.
All right, we're back. We're talking sports on a Saturday evening with me, John Friedman. We got Jeff Lax here. We've got Chuck. We've got Bruce. We got it all covered here. And as you know, at this time of the show, at this time usually on a Saturday, we'd like to know, what do you think, Marty? Which is brought to you by B&B Metro Insurance. For all your business and insurance needs, go to bnbmetro.com. Marty S., welcome back to Talking Sports on a Saturday evening. Marty S.
Can you hear me?
Now I can hear you. How you doing?
Good fuck to you.
Good fuck to you too.
Fuck to you.
and to our listeners, that good fuck you always hear. That's Marty telling us to have a good week this week.
Have a good week. I don't think you're going to have a good week after I'm done with you tonight.
Oh boy, what's up?
I got to get a few things off. I got to get a few things off my chest.
Okay.
You ready?
We're ready. I'm ready, or Jeff's ready, or I need to be ready. Okay.
And then Jeff's going to be ready in a minute.
Oh boy.
Oh boy, this is bad. This is bad. Okay, listen. I got a problem. I'm tired of people from not New York coming here and having radio shows and rooting for teams not in New York.
Oh, you tell him, Marty.
Hold on, let me ask you a question. Do you think that there's 5 people listening to this show who care about the Atlanta Braves?
No.
I never talk about the Atlanta Braves on this show.
Dominique. We're 2 minutes away from a Dominique reference.
I mean, really, I got to tell you, I have him. I have a friend of mine who's from Detroit. You know, this guy I know from Detroit sends me Detroit Pistons updates.
I don't do that.
Yes, you do. You tell me about Ronald Acuna. Let me ask you, you got your friend out there in Radio Land. Does anybody even know who Ronald Acuna is?
Well, I have them on my fantasy team, so I like those. I'll take that.
Trust me, if they're baseball people, they know who Ronald Acuna is.
But we live in New York. Why aren't they rooting for Aaron Judge? Not like this John Friedman. He looks for bars that finds Atlanta people.
Do you know, by the way, Atlanta is so popular up here that the Atlanta Falcons have their own fan bar. It's called the Loser Bar.
I have to mention Jill. I have a son-in-law who roots for the Dallas Cowboys.
Oh.
You know, I have a grandson that was just born. I have to work nightly to threaten this guy, my son-in-law, that he can't make this my son-in-law, my grandson, a New York sports fan.
Yeah.
I possibly could be my son.
Can you imagine your house in Passover in a few years, and the kid gets a little older, and they're starting to talk about? You're gonna have to give your kids Dallas Cowboy uniforms.
No, it's not gonna happen. So I've already told him he's gotta go. What do you do to your kids?
Well, only one of my kids is an Atlanta fan. He had no choice.
What is that? That's not what I mean. That's my point. How are you supposed to? We live in New York. If you want to go talk on Atlanta radio, go to Atlanta radio.
But you know how many people that live in New York that aren't from New York? There's so many of them.
What do you have an opinion on this?
I'm a little biased because my dream is to retire to Miami, and I'm not switching teams when I get there.
Well, right. It's it's the same thing as me being here, and I've been here for a long time.
Yeah.
Well, Miami's like a suburb of New York, so that's a little different.
But you played unfair, Marty, because the Cowboys are not a fair example. That's like the most extreme example.
By the way, one week you tell me you have respect for me, that I, through thick and thin, that I stay with my teams.
I got nauseated this week. I was nauseated. I have to listen to you all week talking about this guy and that.
I thought you were gonna give me the business about having my wife makes me clean the house and stuff. I thought that's what I was in trouble for.
Well, that's embarrassing. By the way, you're a conservative radio talk show station. And I think they find out that you are cleaning your house and you have to get the house ready for your wife who was gone for 10 days. That's not good.
Hey, when my wife came home, that list she gave me, check, all completed.
Well done, John.
You think she said? And by the way, she didn't say, "Hey, good job," or she said, "All right."
All right. Okay. So, anyways, I got that later. Then I got my second point here.
Yeah.
How come you don't have a woman radio host with you?
How do I answer that politically?
Yes.
Have I ever revealed my gender? Do we really know? I don't think I've identified on the show yet.
By the way, there are some women radio people out in the New York area that work actually in New York radio. I'd have in here in a second. I would.
I know somebody he's thinking of.
Right.
Did you hear the commercial right before this?
Who, with Lola Nash?
Everybody, all men. Where's the Me Too movement?
Well, no, we have a woman here. We have actually the number one show probably in the daytime here is hosted by a woman with Curtis Slewell.
Oh, right.
What's her name? They have a cute nickname for her. Something Juliet. And she's excellent, by the way. She is a left winger.
Yeah.
She's a left winger?
Yeah.
Curtis always likes to bounce his opinions off of a more left wing host.
Yeah.
It's always been like that.
So Jet Set Juliet, they call her. Jet Set Juliet. I love their show, by the way.
Is Jeff the official sidekick of yours now?
Official. I mean, I don't know what that is. There such thing as an official sidekick? Doesn't a sidekick just kind of show up?
Yeah, is it called the Jonathan Jeff Show?
I don't think so. I can't be party to an Atlanta-based, sports show.
There you go.
I'm just kidding.
But see, had
He knows I'm kidding.
you not come out and talk about Atlanta, no one would know I'm from Atlanta. It's not like I have a Southern accent or anything.
That's true.
You hide it.
Is that true? Do you
And by the way, my parents were New Yorkers. So, well, they were, but they're still considered. My dad growing up was a huge baseball New York Giant fan.
Nice.
And he liked the New York Football Giants.
Yeah, but what happened with the deer?
When they got to, my parents were already in Atlanta in '66, so they adopted, the Braves and the Falcons and stuff. My dad was never a Hawks fan; he always liked the Knicks. But they adopted those teams because they had already been established there and what have you. But it's not like he never checked the box scores to see what the Giants were doing.
Okay. You get goosebumps when you hear about the Yankees every day.
I do not get goosebumps. No goosebumps.
Do you get bumps when you hear about the Knicks, Marty?
Oh yeah, that's the bump.
You do?
Remember I told you last week?
You're like Leslie in Fort Lee.
Goosebumps. That team hadn't made the playoffs in 20
That's
years.
what I'm saying.
What kind of goosebumps?
Exactly.
When was the last time the Knicks made the playoffs, by the way? How many times has Atlanta made the playoffs in the last 20 years? And how many times has the Knicks made the playoffs in the last?
There you go.
You made the playoffs, but what was the end result?
Well, that's fine, but you got to make the playoffs first.
Yes, but
Listen, aren't you tired of being a lottery team?
I'm a New Yorker.
You're like the LA Clippers, always in the lottery.
Let's go back to the Yankees, please. You get goosebumps.
Jeff doesn't get goosebumps because he's a Mets fan.
Right, I'm a Mets fan.
Of course. What else?
Die hard.
A diehard?
Die hard. Born and bred.
So what do you think they should be? Buyers or sellers?
Are you joking? Is that a serious question, Marty?
Oh, I think.
Well, they have nothing to sell.
First of all, have the Wilpons ever bought anything in their life?
No. You get the trade deadline right now.
I know what you mean. They got to sell. I've been telling John this for weeks.
You know what would be great for baseball, though? What would be great for baseball and just juice in New York, and they won't do it, is to send Syndergaard to the Yankees. That would be such juicy. That'd be juice.
I would have no problem. You get the right pieces, I have no problem with that.
What's the right? Who you want from us?
You start with Frazier. They got a shortstop.
Frazier stinks.
You start with Frazier. It doesn't stink. But
You know what Gleyber Torres?
they're not going to give you Gleyber Torres. But do I want Gleyber? Yeah, of course I want Gleyber.
Yeah. You know what? You're not getting Torres.
You're not getting Gleyber, but I think you can get a great package for Noah, and I would do it. I would do it in a second.
But they're not going to trade him now.
No.
They're going to want for Jason Vargas. What are you going to get for Jason?
No.
Nothing.
Cash.
He's not even a fifth starter.
Right. He's not.
Todd Frazier.
He had a home run today again.
By the way, Marty, I was a little surprised there hadn't been a lot of trade stuff going on. There's just nobody available that's worth trading for.
This week.
But there's nobody available. Maybe position players, but not pitching wise.
Baumgartner's gone, guaranteed.
I don't know if he's gone.
You don't think so?
I don't know. Giants are in it.
Sort of.
This is like the week. This is the week.
Should be.
Well, by the way, now listen, I'm a big Yankee fan, but you realize the Yankees, whoever they trade for this week, will be the pitching opening game of their playoffs.
Yeah. That's sad, by the way.
How weird is that?
That's it. Will CC make the roster? No.
Yeah,
He'll make the roster.
You agree, Jeff?
No, because I think they're going to make a move. You have 7 days.
No, but he's saying that whoever they acquire is going to be the first starter.
I misunderstood. Yes, I agree with that. Probably.
When did this ever happen? The team that has the best record in baseball.
Maybe Houston when they picked up what's his name?
No.
Yeah.
The Yankees have the best record in baseball, right?
Yeah.
Right? And if you ask
How pitiful is baseball this year?
bad, but
For pitchers.
whoever they trade for this week is opening up the playoffs for them.
Depending who it is, but probably.
Well, who else would they start? I mean, anybody they pick up this week should be better than what they have, right?
Maybe the guy from Seattle they got? No?
Which guy?
Paxton, is that his name?
Oh, yeah, remember I told you the Maple Mamba?
Yeah.
Do you know Paxton's nickname?
What is it?
The Big Maple.
I got a question for Marty that I really would like to ask him. Mike Messina, does he belong? See? You're not sure. Tough one, right?
That's a real tough one. But that also means like, why did it? Yeah. The thing is, I kind of agree with you because he was never the best. He wasn't never the best pitcher in the league. Ever.
But sometimes you got to look at, decade.
Well, what is he? Was never the best pitcher of the decade.
Well, one of them.
But you know who else was like that? Nolan Ryan. He was never even the best pitcher on his team. He was always a second starter.
He's pretty good. He's a pretty good pitcher.
I agree, but he was always the second best.
But on a given day, he could be the best pitcher.
Listen, they all can't be the Atlanta Braves of the 90s.
Here we go.
Chicks dig the what was that?
Chicks dig the long ball.
Chicks dig the long. You can't say that anymore, by the way.
Oh, really? Yeah, you're not allowed to use that word? Oh, jeez.
You never talk about the Atlanta teams at all?
Well, I had to throw that in. I had to throw that in. Wait till we go over NBA stuff later. Somehow I got a Dominique thing in here somewhere. Right. Yeah, Dominique came back and led the league in scoring.
Why would Kevin Durant ever want to be compared to Dominique Wilkins?
Because Dominique's a Hall of Famer. You know what I used to love? I used to love when the PA announcer went, "That was Dominique Wilkins." You know, the guy at the Garden who used to go, "That was Dominique Wilkins."
Yep.
I used to love that.
You did?
Oh, I love that.
That was your guy.
Listen,
By next week, we're going to Yankee Stadium.
I'm ready. We're going to get the Modell's has those. We're going to take Marty. I think Modell's has those legend seats.
Nice.
We're going to get them. And there's even a kosher stand there, by the way. Yeah. We're going to go. I'm ready.
Yeah, but he's the Mets fan. So we got the Mets fan, the Atlanta fan. What we get my friend the Detroit fan?
Yeah, bring him too.
Could there be a bigger loser than being a Detroit fan?
It's pretty bad. It's pretty and my man Ed's a nice guy, but Ed, your football team, that's just pathetic.
He starts telling me they're the New England Patriots.
They're
New England Patriots.
Yeah. Watch him fall on his face this year.
The Patriots, except they forgot the two Patriots. They forgot Belichick and Brady.
Yeah.
They left that behind, right?
Yeah. And they're what's his name's going to come out of retirement and play for them for the tight end. No, the tight end. Yeah, Gronkowski. Yeah. Oh, I always say his Thanksgivings just must be terrible.
Oh, you don't know what my life is like. Every day with the Detroit Pistons. Can you imagine?
The Detroit Pistons. Although that's their winningest team. But don't forget about the Red Wings also. All right, Marty, I gotta break for news. Stop threatening us that you're coming in studio. Jeff says, "Is Marty coming in tonight?" I said, "No, he's not coming in."
I gotta get permission. Listen, if I were you, I had to get permission.
That's true.
Let me work on that. I'll start tonight, then I'll tell you my midweek, okay?
You got it, buddy. All right, you're listening to Talking Sports on a Saturday evening with me, John Friedman. Give us a call on the Gotta Go to Mo's call-in line. That was Marty. What do you think, Marty? Brought to you by B&B Metro Insurance. For all your insurance needs, go to bnbmetro.com. I'm John Friedman. This is Talking Sports. We'll be right back. Can't get him off. We have Ryan Dunleavy.
Advertisers trying to reach potential customers in today's fast-paced, technology-driven world are having a
Does he know about that?
impossible time figuring out how to do
Does he
so.
know you're calling him
There
back?
are so many
Okay, great.
options, from the traditional media to the practically limitless digital and social platforms.
All right,
that
so I'm
are
going to
available,
need your help on
making it
this
harder than
one.
ever for businesses to
Yeah.
get their message in front
Nice
of
guy,
the right
too.
audience. There
Yeah.
is a solution, however, and it's called SCG
I love
Advertising and
introducing
Public
him.
Relations.
Oh, yeah,
SCG
He's
is a
always good.
full-service
NJ
advertising
Advanced
and
Media,
public
you and I know it
relations
better as the
agency
Star
that can help you
Legend.
navigate through today's
Have you done it
chaotic
before?
media landscape
Yeah.
and reach
He's
your
been on
potential
every show of
customers.
mine.
Help our
really?
clients
I used to try to use the
relationships,
NJ.com guys all the
reputations, and
time.
brands by
Yeah.
integrating
Nice.
your message
Host guys
across
don't
the
get back to
entire
you. I'm too
media
little.
spectrum. The folks at SCG understand
He's
the
good, though.
options
He's smart.
available to
Very good.
advertisers
I like
and
him.
will work with you to determine
He's
the
fair.
best creative
Very
and media
fair.
plan
Very
for your
fair.
business.
Oh, he's a good writer. He knows. He saw the thing he wrote me. I think they saw.
SCGADV.com. That's SCGADV.com. We'll help you reach your customers. All of them.
From the NJDiet.com studios, we are Talk Radio.
And what's his name called? He hung up, I say.
Oh, okay.
I see that guy from Long Island hung out too. He told you he's hanging up, or no, he just hung up? He'll call back. What's that guy's name? I forgot.
Took place exactly 50 years and 4 minutes ago. Armstrong's first step was followed by
Will you write this stuff down? What's the guy's name in Long Island who calls us?
Today, our nation pays
The guy
tribute
from
to
that
3
Franklin
brave
Square.
astronauts who
Dave.
sat atop a 360-foot rocket.
Dave, right? Dave from Franklin Square. Okay. All right.
Armstrong
Is there a
died 7
password
years
for the
ago.
internet here? I can't
Command
get on.
module
Oh,
pilot
yeah,
Michael
go.
Collins
Yeah,
took
I had. Remember last week I told you I couldn't go on my 4G.
turned out for advanced
So he
launch
had.
of
They
the
have it
landing.
back there.
The Apollo 11 command
Where is
module
he?
Columbia is on display at the Museum of Flight in Seattle. And in Houston, correspondent
Is
Rachel
that okay? That
reports the
segment?
Johnson Space Center
It may have been, well, as
This
long as he
is the
wants or
room
whatever.
where
It
it
went
happened,
long. That's
where
why
the
I wonder if
engineers, the
people get
scientists,
bored.
the flight controllers
It was boring?
pulled off the incredible feat of landing Buzz Aldrin and Neil Armstrong on the moon. It feels as if the flight controllers just stepped away from their desks as a result of an incredible 6-year restoration project, and the attention to detail is simply outstanding. I mean, everything from the wallpaper to the carpets.
Well, the Big Apple was more like a baked apple today, so hot that a festival marking the moon landing was not held. And correspondent Britt Conway reports high temperatures fried some other celebrations.
In New York, major events are being canceled, including the
Oh, it's just a little hot weather.
Music
My
Festival,
God.
along with the horse races in Saratoga. In Oklahoma, roads are buckling from the heat. Officials are urging
Evan,
people
how are you,
to
buddy?
take the warnings seriously.
Overnight temps in the upper 70s and 80s are expected with another scorcher tomorrow. I'm Evan Haining.
Non-attorney spokesperson and sponsored by Open Jar Concepts. Attention veterans and active duty military. If you were issued earplugs between 2002 and 2016 and were diagnosed with hearing loss or ringing in the ears, you may be entitled to compensation. The manufacturer of these military earplugs recently paid $9.1 million to resolve claims that their earplugs were defective, potentially exposing service members to damaging sound levels that could have
You have
resulted in
Ryan?
hearing loss or tinnitus. If you or a loved one were issued earplugs and were diagnosed with tinnitus or hearing loss, don't wait. You fought for this country, and our attorneys want to fight for you. Call 800-719-6
There's the meeting.
free legal consultation. And
Coming back soon, John.
Okay. Chuck, you got Ryan?
pay nothing unless there's a recovery in your favor. So call 800-719-6029 now. Again, 800-719-6029. That's 800-719-6029. Radio 77 WABC with Bernie and Sid in the morning with Ben Shapiro.
And this information is that Rand Paul and Mike Lee are very bad men who don't want to help 9/11 responders. That's because there's nobody in Congress who actually cares about fiscal responsibility. It's not a political game to ask how we're going to pay for things. It's not a political game to cover up provisions
He's next.
that are open-ended.
I got you.
Ben Shapiro. Weekdays, 3 to 6 p.m. Talk Radio 77 WABC. It's Saturday evening. Time for Talking Sports. Here's your host, Jonathan Friedman.
All right, we're back. We're talking sports on a Saturday evening with me, John Friedman. Give me a call on the Gotta Go to Mo's call-in line at 800-848-9222. That's 800-848-WABCModels.com. And speaking of the Gotta Go to Mo's call-in line, joining us is Ryan Dunleavy. He covers the beat of the New York Football Giants for NJ Advanced Media. You and I know it better as the Star Ledger. Ryan, welcome back to Talking Sports on a Saturday evening.
Hey, Jonathan,
How are you? So listen, we got training camp. I can't believe we're about to hit training camp. Talk to us about the New York Giants, exactly when they get started. Give us some thoughts of a lot of things going on with Jones and Manning and your assessment of this team as of July. What are we here? July 20th.
Yeah, the rookies report for training camp on Monday, and then veterans will be there on Wednesday. And then it's 2 weeks of practice before the first preseason game, and that'll be mostly a Daniel Jones show, I think. It's probably the first time we'll get to learn really something about Daniel Jones because, look, he looked very good, much better than expectations in the first 16 practices this spring, but those were no pads, short practices designed for quarterbacks and receivers to shine above everybody else.
Mm-hmm.
You can't bump or run or really even play any kind of defense. You can't tackle, so the running back is kind of pointless. It's really a throw and catch kind of thing. And Jones looked good. I think he'll play at some point this regular season, but that's mostly because I don't think the Giants are very good.
So let me ask you this. I read some things about this kid. they say he's real cool. In other words, that he actually has a little Eli in him in regards to, the whole thing that happened at Yankee Stadium when he gets booed and stuff. And that he seems like he's a mature kid, obviously a smart kid. He went to Duke. And you think he's got the thick skin to survive here or to thrive here.
Yeah, I mean, that's what everybody says about him. It's what the Giants liked about him. It's what NFL people outside the Giants who I've talked to have said about him. It's one of the scouts I know who have gotten to know him liked about him. One of the boxes he checked was he has that aw-shucks Eli Manning, Eli face, so to speak, where he, if he throws an interception, he's going to bounce back from it. If he gets blasted by the media, he's going to bounce back from it. But I got to see it. I mean, that's what everybody says.
Right.
But he did that in Duke. Let me see him do it in New York. One of the things that Eli did so well was develop that. And even if Eli came into New York with that in 2004, there were times before he won his first Super Bowl, people were ready to run him out of here. Even after he won his first Super Bowl, before his second Super Bowl, people were ready to run him out of here.
One of them is my partner sitting next to me here.
Yeah, I'm in that list.
And people are ready to run him out of here again now. So he's done it in the biggest fishbowl in all of sports. People think Daniel Jones will be able to do it, but I need to see him be able. Let's see him play, and then let's see him play poorly, and then let's see him play poorly and bounce back from it, and that's when I'll be impressed.
Now, one of the things that I'm really curious about, Ryan, this is Jeff Lax over here. One of the things we kept hearing when they draft him was they're going to really restrict his ability to run. He likes to just go off, and I know they run plays for him back in college. Are the Giants, are they going to run actually any run plays for him or options, or are they going to restrict him tremendously and try to make him more of a pocket passer?
When he plays, there will be plays for him to run. Now, we're not talking Cam Newton where he, drops back and then, option, he's the main option in a designed run. We're talking about having him roll out, roll the pocket, throw on the move, extend plays with his feet, and then if he needs to take off, he can, like most quarterbacks do in the NFL.
I was going to say or broken plays with their offensive line.
Am I wrong about him though? He seems like he has a lot of talent, more than the typical.
He ran for 175 yards in a college football game.
Wow!
Right.
Against Miami. I mean, that's for a quarterback not named Kyler Murray or for Cam Newton or so. That 175 yards is a mind-boggling amount of yards for a guy who's mostly a pocket passer. So yeah, I think he had 6 rushing touchdowns last year. I think he had 16 or 19 in his career at Duke. I mean, there's legitimate legs there. But again, the idea is not for him to be a true dual threat quarterback. The idea is for him to extend plays, to roll pockets, to create space, and then if he has to run for 4 or 5 yards, he can, rather than take an incompletion or a 4 or 5 yard pass.
Right.
I don't think you're going to see him breaking off 25-yard designed runs. I think the difference is where Eli Manning throws an incompletion or gets sacked, Daniel Jones runs for 3 yards and then steps out of bounds.
What's Eli's demeanor been during OTAs and stuff with this kid and just overall?
Look, I mean, Eli is certainly motivated by this. I mean, everybody says he's worked as hard as he's ever worked. He knows he hasn't, he's been pretty honest. He knows his job is on the line. He knows he needs to play well early in the season to keep Daniel Jones on the bench. I do think it helps somewhat that they knew each other, that Jones is respectful of Manning and all Manning has done, that this isn't Baker Mayfield coming in here saying it's my job to win, I'm the guy, if anybody can do it, it's me, that this is Daniel Jones, has that demeanor of, bow to the guy who came before you, and they knew each other. They shared Coach David Cutcliffe, is basically family for both of them. So, they've known each other for a long time. I certainly think that helps in terms of Eli, who, let's call it what it is. Eli is handled himself well, but Eli has not had what's the right way to say this? He has not had a ton of adversity in his life. He's been handed this starting job, and he was the #1 overall pick, and he hasn't had a challenger for 15 years. And then when they benched him, it was a huge disaster, and he got his job right back. So, the Giants have been good. As good as Eli Manning has played, the
Giants have been very good to Eli Manning. And now Eli Manning's going to have to win a job, which is something he's never really had to do before.
Now, Ryan, one of the players that really intrigues me the most, it's actually not Daniel Jones, only because we know we're not going to see that much of him most likely this year. But the one player we kept hearing so much about the previous year as being a steal in the supplemental was Sam Beal. And it sounds like he's healthy. What are you seeing from Beal, and what do you expect out of him this year?
I expect he'll be the third corner. And when I say that, I don't mean the nickel corner. I think he's not really built for the nickel. I think he'll rotate as the third corner in on the outside. Janoris Jenkins and DeAndre Baker will be your starters. And then Beal will be the first sub or the first rotation guy or the first guy in with an injury. But I still think the slot belongs to either Julian Love or Grant Haley. So he'll probably be the third corner listed on the depth chart, but play the fourth most cornerback snaps, if that makes sense.
And you think that could change over the course of the year? Because I know you wrote in an article a few weeks back that you could see Jenkins getting traded actually at some point if they get off to a bad start.
Yeah, I think if they're bad, I can see Janoris Jenkins. I mean, look, Janoris Jenkins was in trade talks last year. There were teams calling the Giants about Jenkins. They didn't pull the trigger. They're glad they didn't pull the trigger in hindsight because they need him now to lead this group of guys who he has more starts than everybody else combined, and it's not even really close. Right. So they need him, but that job will be pretty much over by Halloween when the trading deadline is. He'll have done his mentoring, and if they're 1-6 or 2-7 or whatever it would be, Jenkins would be a piece they could certainly move for a draft pick and then slide Beal in, and then you have your secondary for the next 3 or 4 years all intact that they're hoping is the foundation of their defense.
Ryan, give us a little who's the sleeper in training camp? Maybe it's a free agent they brought in or a rookie, or who's or maybe the kid out of Georgia that they got in the trade, not the linebacker Ogletree. Is he ready to get to the next level? Or the guy they got from Cleveland, in the receiver trade? Give us some kind of sleeper.
I think Darius Slayton, a rookie, 6th-round pick or 5th-round pick, I believe, actually 5th-round pick out of Auburn. The Giants have no third receiver, and really the Giants' third receiver is the 5th receiver because it's Golden Tate and Sterling Shepard, and then the ball goes big from Barkley and Evan Ingram. And so really, when you're talking third receiver, you're talking about the guy who's going to get the 5th most targets.
Mm-hmm.
But I think that's the guy who really adds an element they don't have without Beckham. It's who's going to hit the ball, who's going to get the ball down the field. And Slayton's kind of a home run, deep threat, probably the fastest guy in the receiver group. So he's the guy. He had struggled with drops his first couple days with the Giants, but really came on towards the end of OTAs. I definitely think he's the sleeper. He could be that third receiver, a guy who maybe finishes the season with something like 20 catches for 300 and something yards and 4 touchdowns. And, doesn't have huge numbers, but if you watch the 16 games, made an impact. I definitely think he is a guy. You mentioned Kevin Zeitler, the guy they got in the trade from Odell. I think he certainly solidifies the offensive line, but it's hard to call any one offensive lineman a sleeper. I think he's a huge impact pickup. I think he was the best pickup they made all offseason. And that includes Jabril Peppers. And then a sleeper on the defensive side of the ball might be Ryan Connolly, another rookie, a 5th round pick. Inside linebacker is kind of an open job for the Giants. Alec Ogletree is the number 1 guy, and then the second guy is either B.J. Goodson, Tay Davis. I like Ryan Connolly because he can cover, and the Giants' inside linebackers are terrible in coverage. It's just the way it is. Ogletree's a good run stopper. He had 5 picks last year, but that's because quarterbacks were coming after him. Ryan Connolly was good in coverage in the Big Ten at Wisconsin. I think he could end up playing his way into a big role because he can cover, and then they're expecting big things out of Lorenzo Carter as an outside linebacker, second-year player. They're expecting him.
Out of Georgia.
4 sacks as a rookie. They're expecting big things out of him this year.
So for Barkley, do other teams say, all right, we're going to put 8 in the box?
Yeah, exactly.
You got no receivers here. We're going to put 8 in the box. Now beat us.
Yeah, I mean, look, they could. I think that's what teams are going to do. I don't think you can say, look, the Giants' offense is better than the Giants' defense, at least in my eyes. So
I agree.
That's what teams are going to do. They're going to put 8 in the box. But if you do that, I mean, Sterling Shepard, Golden Tate, Evan Ingram, and Corey Coleman or whoever. I mean, mostly it's Ingram, Shepard, and Tate. Those are 3 legitimate NFL players. I mean, they're not.
No doubt.
They're not Odell Beckham. If you try to put 8 in the box, Evan Ingram's going to get open down the middle of the field.
Yes, he is. All right, so on the 20th of July, give us what if you had to give me a record, right? What would you think the Giants would be this year?
People aren't going to like this. If I had to give you a record right now,
Yeah, and we're going to check back with you throughout the season, but just today.
I'd say 4-12.
Wow.
Yeah.
People are not going to like that.
Can I just ask you a macro level question here, Ryan? And I hope I don't put you on the spot too much, but with all the criticism that Gettleman has taken, and I personally think deservedly so, it just seems to me as an outsider, all I am is just a season ticket holder outsider, right? It just seems to me he's flying with the wind, didn't really have a plan from the beginning, went the wrong way, thought they were win now, then totally changed directions, then changed directions again. Is there a plan here? Do you see the plan? And if you do, is it long-term, short-term? What are you seeing?
Look, I think he's had a plan. I just think it changed. I think he didn't want to admit this, but everything he did last year was to win now. And then they went 1-7, and he had to scrap the plan. He has yet to admit that that's what he did, but you don't give Nate Solder the contract. You don't extend Odell Beckham and trade him. You don't do all the things he did last year if you weren't trying to win now. So that was his plan last year. And then his plan this year is, look, it's pretty easy. He kept all his free agent money to play for next year in free agency. And this year was all about young talent, whether it's the 10 draft pick rookies they have, whether it's trading for Jabril Peppers, who's only 23, whether it's, Sam Beal, who's not one of the 10 draft picks, but is essentially a rookie. This whole year is about developing young players, and then including Daniel Jones, and then next year supplementing players in free agency, maybe some veterans. I think that his plan has changed from day one, but I see his plan. I don't necessarily agree with it. I would not have traded Odell Beckham, certainly not for the haul they got back. But I think when he traded Beckham, I didn't know what he was doing. Now I think I know what he's doing. I just don't necessarily agree.
All right, I'll tell you what, Ryan, can we check back with you, going into week 1, so to speak, maybe the week before or week after or whatever, after you've been through a preseason, after injuries or no injuries, and take a look at and we'll take a look at it from there. Things could change from then. Maybe there ends up being a surprise in training camp or whatever. You'll be our go-to guy with the Giants, and we'll get back to you then. Does that work for you?
Yeah, sure. Sounds good. Reach out to me before week 1. Maybe I'll have more than 4 wins in the bank when I see the team actually practice. Look, the schedule's kind, so they could get off to a fast start, and then that would certainly change everything in Giants land.
Okay, right, great. Ryan, thank you so much for joining us, and we'll get back to you soon. All right, buddy?
All right, sounds good.
Thanks, buddy. All right, that was Ryan Dunleavy, who covers the beat of the New York Football Giants for NJ.com, New Jersey Advanced Media, the Star Ledger. He's a good one. You're listening to Talking Sports on a Saturday evening with me, John Friedman. We got Jeff Last. We got Izzy in the house. We got Chuck as our call screener. Dave from Franklin Square, give us a call back. I see you hung up on us. We had too many things going on. You're listening to Talking Sports on a Saturday evening. I'm John Friedman. We'll be right back.
Many doctors in the U.S. and Canada have chosen the Back Institute for their own care. Experts in non-traumatic spine surgery. No cutting, no bleeding, no drilling, no scarring. With offices in New York City, Philadelphia, and Beverly Hills, BackInstitute.com offers information about new non-traumatic techniques. Visit Back Institute online at BackInstitute.com or give them a call at 800-956-6724.
He's great, and I love how. Yeah, that was 4-12. I was not expecting him to say that. He used to be Rutgers guy.
Luxury Jersey City
Yeah.
apartment
They
from
switch a lot
McKay
sometimes. The
is a
writers at
gorgeous
NBA.com.
two-bedroom, two-bath apartment home
Yeah,
facing
he's
south
always
and
there.
east with a
He's always
magnificent
there.
view
They
of the
wouldn't say
Statue
that.
of Liberty and
Well,
Manhattan
Jones may
skyline
not
at
say
Journal
that.
Square.
No.
This 1,071 square foot home
And I
features
think
an open
Bakiano
concept
is
layout
still
with modern
total still.
design,
What about
stainless steel
Serby?
kitchens, quartz
I'm
countertops,
not sure.
luxuriously
Has he been
appointed
still?
bathrooms,
There's a
full-size
couple
No, I'm
of
not
guys
sure
washer
who
and
you think
dryer
of.
I don't
unit,
remember if
central
he's
heating,
like.
He's the post guy,
cooling,
right?
and
Yeah,
much
yeah,
more.
yeah.
Their
I don't
leasing
remember.
office
There's
is
a
open
couple of
7
real
days a
shows.
week, and you can reach them at
Graziano's
info
good.
at
He's a Ledger guy,
journalsquare.com
right?
or
Or
give them
was
a
he?
That
call
was
at
ESPN.
Oh,
201
yes,
He
yeah,
used
right.
to be.
659-7100.
Yeah.
Check out KRE.
How's the
George
kids?
George
Good?
Ron is
for
How's
more
the kids?
details.
Good?
Good, good. Yeah.
How was Charlotte?
Good. Good.
Hot.
Hot there.
You have a pool you can go to? Or you, no.
Go to, yeah.
Republican
No.
defectors voted against the
You
president
guys
just
swim on
for
Charlotte or
arrest
not?
statements
Do you
party
You guys
lines
swim on
because they
Charlotte
looked
or
to what
not?
President
Yeah, I didn't
Remark
know
said.
Oh, we
Even
have
though
a
they were
neighborhood
ham-handed,
pool.
they could have been
Oh,
done
yeah.
much more subtly. What he was trying to say is these four, now known as the Squad, continuously make anti-American remarks. And he said, basically, if you don't like it, get out, go back to your
Yeah,
countries,
Marty, I
fix
let
it,
him
come
go
back
because
and
he's
tell me how
paying
you
for
did
it.
it.
So, I
What's your agreement? 5 minutes? Like, what do you think?
I don't have one.
Forever? You can go to Ravani place.
Advertisers trying to reach potential customers in today's fast-paced, technology-driven
As long
world
as he
are having
pays
a
the bill,
difficult, if not impossible, time figuring out how to do so. There are so many options, from the traditional media to the
Usually
limitless
I will have
digital
fun
and
with this.
social
I'm going to talk about
platforms
this on
that
the
are
air, not
available,
getting a
making
name.
it harder than
So
ever for
I think I
businesses
may
to
have
get
got, I
their
don't want to
message in
jinx it,
front
but I
of the
think I
right
got
audience.
Caraco.
There is a
Caraco's
solution,
soup.
however,
Oh,
and
nice.
it's
But
called
I'm going to get into
SCG
shotness here with
Advertising
you.
and Public
Very cool.
Relations.
You gonna do
SCG
what?
is a
I'm going to get into
full-service
shotness with you.
What have more
that
time?
can help
No, I'm
you
saying, I
navigate
wonder if they have a shotness issue. Do they have shotness issues?
and reach your potential customers.
Yeah, the call,
Our
the listeners are down in the town I'm talking about.
Organizations and brands by
Nobody.
integrating your message across the entire media spectrum.
So I'm hoping to get them. I showed them why they should do it. Which actually makes sense. Heavy men's.
Creative and media plan for your business. So learn more about us by visiting scgadv.com. That's scgadv.com. We'll help you reach your customers, all of them.
All right, we're back. We're talking sports on a Saturday evening with me, John Friedman. Give me a call on the Gotta Go to Mo's call-in line at 800-848-9222. That's 800-848-WABC models.com. So Izzy's in the house. What's happening, Izzy? Did you learn some did you learn some ELO songs this week? Any of you guys?
I actually did not, John.
Me neither,
And
but I
I have
watched-
to make sure I take actually more into that for the ELO. What is it called? ELO.
ELO, the Electrical Light Orchestra. And Chuck, I know I'm not supposed to mention your quote unquote day thing, but Chuck does work with Joe Piscopo on it once in a while. And you told me he mentioned it. He talked about it this week.
because they played out in Jersey. So he brought it up, and I was
See?
in there, and I was like,
Piscopo is 70 years old.
Yeah, but all right, I'm not though.
That's my point.
Well, and Jeff Lynne, their lead singer, must be about 70 years old too.
But I gotta tell you,
Yeah.
I did watch Izzy this week. I watched the show.
Isn't he great?
I loved it, Izzy. I'm loving it.
Thank you so much, guys.
He was
I
talking about
appreciate
the
it. It's so funny
blackout.
too, Jeff, because when I was going back and looking at the replay, and I always look to it too at the replay, I'm just like, oh my gosh, I look crazy. And I saw you liked it and everything. Thank you so much for watching.
Yeah, so let me plug you on Facebook. If you want to see Izzy during the week and see him do his thing, you just type in Izzy Richardson, right? Is that what you type in?
Yep, it's Isaiah Izzy Richardson on Facebook.
There you go. You get it. Tuesday night I get back from work or Wednesday night or whatever. You get through the conversation with your wife and you finish dinner. You put on Facebook and then he gets you all pumped up.
But see, it's funny that you're saying that because I had the opposite. I got mellowed out. I'm watching. What time is your show on?
What was he playing? Soft music? I don't believe that.
No, it's his voice. He's like, I can't do it, but he's like, hello, everybody out there. It's gonna be a smooth sailing ride. So he has like
He's
this
positive,
relaxing,
but he's positive. Everything's positive with him.
You know who he reminds me of?
Don Cornelius.
I don't know who that is. He reminds me of Tony Page overnight.
Really?
Like that.
That's a compliment.
Soothing, like
Don Cornelius was a compliment too, by the way.
Oh, thank you so much.
You know who Don Cornelius is, Jeff? Seriously,
I really don't.
Jeff. Seriously,
No,
you're in your mid-40s. And they know who he is. How about he headed the Soul Train. Don Cornelius.
Oh, Don Cornelius.
Yeah, well.
Okay, I don't know.
Really?
No.
Wow, you're under a rock.
Is he a musician?
No, he was what's the American Bandstand guy? What was his name?
Dick Clark?
Dick Clark. He was the Dick Clark of Soul Train.
Oh, really?
Yeah. You really let me down. I mean, that's you got to get underneath the rock. Seriously, it's one thing you don't know ELO, but you got to. Hey, let me give you some news of sports around what was happening during the week this week. Interesting. Jerry Seltzer died at the age of 87, and you're going to say, who is that? Jerry Seltzer is a second-generation showman who used television to revive the enthusiasm for roller derby. The contact sport played on wheels that his father invented in the 1930s died on July 1st at his home in Sonoma, California. He was 87 years old. Mr. Seltzer took over the roller derby business in 1959 from his father, Leo. It was still the ferocious blue-collar game it had long been. The two teams of 5 helmeted players muscling, elbowing, kicking, shoving, and tossing each other while circling a banked track counterclockwise and keep it away from the, I never really understood the thing, but when I was a kid, I watched roller derby. There wasn't a lot on television and stuff. And don't tell me you've never seen roller derby on television. I've never watched that. Oh, so that's an iconic guy. A sad note, though, this week, earlier last Monday, was Pernell Whitaker. The boxer at 55 years old was hit by a car and passed away. That was sad. What a good boxer he was, and he was known for his defense. He was hard. It was really hard to get shots in on him as a boxer, and at 55 years old, that's pretty young. Interesting to note here, you always hear about men in trouble in sports, right? Yeah. WNBA player suspended for 10 games after domestic violence. The WNBA suspended Los Angeles Sparks guard Raguina Williams for 10 games for what was described as a domestic violence incident, the league announced Tuesday. Williams was arrested in April and charged in connection with an incident that occurred months earlier at a Florida home with her ex-girlfriend. The criminal proceedings involving Williams are still going on, according to the WNBA. The 29-year-old pleaded not guilty and made a felony charges of burglary. Did I say that right? Yeah. With assault and battery and aggravated assault with a firearm. Oy vey. She was initially set to have a court hearing on June 6th, but the hearing was pushed back to August 16th, about 3 weeks before the regular season ended. The WNBA conducted its own internal investigation into the matter, including interviews with Williams and several witnesses. The league said in a statement, which is noted, is consulted with domestic violence experts. So kind of interesting. We always hear about, men and those kind of things. So you had that story. And how about Tiger Woods yesterday limping in? Did not make the cut at the Open. It's not the British Open this year because it was not in England. Right. It was in, I think, Ireland. Is that where? So they called it the Open. So anyway, he didn't make the cut. And the interesting is he may take the rest of the year off. Tiger's, and he said it yesterday, he's at an age now where he just can't show up. Right. He's at an age where the consistency, or there's inconsistencies in his game now because he's older. Yeah. That's just what happens. Your body breaks down. He said yesterday, listen, you can see I still have the ability to win a major, but it's just not the same. And it's interesting that he realizes this now. He's up there. He's not far from a senior tour situation, right? Kind of thing. Yeah. So kind of interesting. And for you New York Ranger fans, Jacob Tromba agreed to a massive contract with the Rangers. The team announced it had agreed to terms with the recently acquired the blue liner from Winnipeg. You imagine living and playing in Winnipeg, Canada, where there's nothing to do, right? And then you sign this big contract and come play in New York for the Rangers. That's got to be a life changer. I mean, absolute life changer. He signed a 7-year deal worth $56 million. Not too shabby, right? Not too shabby. And also in college basketball news, college basketball assistant for Chuck Person, who was the rifleman. You ever heard of him? Yeah, sure. Well, he was an assistant at Auburn. He was involved in all this college basketball scandals in the last 2 years.
Yeah.
He will not face jail time. So, that's good. That a lot of these assistants got in trouble, but the head coaches seem to be flying free. So, it's good to see that he did not, will not serve jail time.
We got a correction for you. I got a little tweet over here from a buddy of mine.
Yeah.
This is a message to you, John.
Yeah.
It says it's always called the Open. You only us across the pond. Us across the pond call it the British Open.
Got
It's
it.
always been known as the Open Championship.
Got it. I'm
so
glad.
my friend Steve is on the ball with
Nice, Steve. Thanks for tweeting that out. I appreciate it. Hey, Izzy, you got the Modell's music there? Maybe you don't. There you go. You guys, you better get ready. Save big every week at Modell's. Visit your local store for special unadvertised deals. Shop all kinds of styles and brands you love like Nike, Adidas, Under Armour, Champion, Unipro, and much more. Are you an athlete gearing up for the season? We've got you covered for every sport. Whether it's your first time playing or you're a seasoned veteran like Johnny, Modell's is the place to go. But wait, what about professional sports? Don't worry, we've got you covered there too. Whether you're the casual or diehard sports fan, we've got jerseys, tees, hats, and much more. Modell's, you got to go to Moe's, Jeff.
You got to go to Moe's.
Izzy?
You gotta go to Moe's.
Chalk.
Gotta go to Moe's.
There you go. Gotta love our sponsors, Modell's good people over there, and I'm going to hit Mitch Modell up for those tickets. He's got the Legend tickets there.
I would love to go.
You know what I love about the Legend seats? I don't know if you guys have ever sat, Chuck, if you've ever sat in the Legend seats. The best part about the Legend seats is I get to eat 18 times.
So when are we going?
Every half inning, I'm in there. And you talk about a spread.
Yeah.
I've heard.
Man, not only do they have a great spread, they got, and I love this, it's one of my biggest problems. They got a great spread, not only just regular food, they got a huge kosher spread also.
Wow.
But they got a great candy spread. And every half inning, they're like, here he is again. Here he is again. So we got to get those and get to a game. So, all right, Izzy, I'll tell you what, let's take a quick break. We got to pay some bills with our sponsors. You're listening to Talking Sports on a Saturday evening with me, John Friedman. Give me a call on the Gotta Go to Moe's call-in line at 800-848-9222. That's 800-848-WABC. We got Jeff, we got Izzy, we got Chuck. We'll be right back.
Tom, did you hear about that guy who died? Did you hear about the Florida giant who died?
Yeah, bring that up.
Did you or you say it? I was on this one.
No, I didn't say it yet. I forgot to print something out. You got his name there? Yeah. Is he on the Google? I'll ask you, like, here's the thing. Right, I'm going to ask you, like, was he play? Did he play? Yeah. Starter?
Yeah, he wasn't a starter, but he definitely played with you.
It's a good time when we come back from break and say, John, why did you left off?
Many doctors
Yeah, that shouldn't happen.
have chosen the Back Institute for their own care. Experts in non-traumatic spine surgery. No cutting, no bleeding, no drilling, no scarring. With offices in New York City, Philadelphia, and Beverly Hills, BackInstitute.com offers information about new non-traumatic techniques. Visit Back Institute online at BackInstitute.com or give them a call at 800-956-6724. That's 800-956-6724. Back Institute, award-winning spine surgeons and physicians.
Advertisers trying to reach potential customers in today's fast-paced, technology-driven world are having a difficult, if not impossible, time figuring out how to do so. There are so many options, from the traditional media to the practically limitless digital and social platforms that are available, making it harder than ever for businesses to get their message in front of the right audience. There is a solution, however, and it's called SCG Advertising and Public Relations. SCG is a full-service advertising and public relations agency that can help you navigate through today's chaotic media landscape.
Oh, I thought maybe it was coaching or something.
Clients strengthen their relationships, reputations, and brands by
Probably
integrating your
overweight.
message across the entire
Overweight.
media spectrum. The folks at
Oh,
SCG
God.
understand the
In
options
Arkansas?
available to advertisers and will work with you to determine the best creative and media plan for your business. So learn more about us by visiting scgadv.com. That's scgadv.com. We'll help
You weren't here
with
for
your
any Hall of Fame
customers,
conversation,
all
right?
of them.
No.
Okay, we're going to talk about it.
What do you think of the team?
We're going to talk about it.
Harold Baines.
When the president of the United States says
I gotta look at the
all
numbers.
Democrats are one thing,
He's a good
he
hitter,
is
though.
engaging in behavior that is
Good
so
hitter.
not
But he played the outfield. He played the outfield. He played the outfield.
in this country know that what he's doing is wrong. They know what he's saying is wrong, but they're either too scared to stand up to him, or worse, they agree with them.
New for your middays. Chris and Juliet. Weekdays noon to 3 on radio 77 WABC.
All right, we're back. We're talking sports on a Saturday evening with me, John Friedman. Give me a call on the Gotta Go to Mo's call-in line at 800-848-9222. That's 800-848-WABC. Models.com. I felt bad. We had a few callers that had hung up when between Marty and Ryan Dunleavy, because I guess I do interviews too long or something. I'm hanging on. Anyway, so let's take a quick look at the Hall of Fame and the inductees. Obviously, Mariano Rivera, great pitcher, no question about that. And first ballot, right? Unanimous ballot, right? Was that the whole big deal back then, right? When he got in, so we know about him. Then you get into the one that's kind of sad, who was great, was Roy Halladay.
Oh, very sad.
Wrecked his plane a few years ago, 2-3 years ago, whatever it was. And have you ever seen the plane that he wrecked, by the way?
I did. I saw a video. That's crazy.
He
was doing tricks, right?
Yeah, he had just gotten it kind of thing. It's those ones that roll, that have wheels that you can like roll up to the, it's tiny. It folds. The wings fold. It's like this, whatever. So, yeah, it sounded like he was doing maneuvers. And obviously, they found stuff in his blood system and stuff like that.
Oh, they did. Okay,
oh, yeah, they did. Yeah, they did. And that's unfortunate. But as a pitcher, the guy was he was Maddox too with heat.
Yeah.
He could throw it hard, and he was 170 and 75 with a 2.97 ERA. Pretty darn good. And interesting enough does he go in as a Blue Jay or a Philly?
That's a good question. How many years? How many years was he with the Phillies?
It must have been with the Phillies for about 3-4 years, kind of thing, 5 years. He was with Toronto a long time.
I think of him as a Philly.
You do? I think of him as a Blue Jay.
I do.
Interesting. And he won a World Series with the Phillies.
That's what I'm saying.
Right.
Usually the big win, I give him credit for.
Yeah, I guess you could say that. And then you have Mike Mussina. Now that's the one you like to talk about.
Tough one.
You feel because they're not 300 or why?
It's funny. His career averages into a Hall of Fame career, but really every year he was just very good, very good, very good, very
3.42 ERA.
It's good. It's very, very good. He never had a bad year. That's the thing about him.
Yeah.
And what he benefits from, let's be honest, was being on a great offensive Yankee team. Had he stayed on the Orioles, I'm not sure he ends up in the Hall of Fame.
But I think of him as an Oriole.
Well, but he would not. Come on. Would you think he would make it as an Oriole?
Probably not. Probably
he would
not.
Have eight wins a year.
But he's one of these guys you look at as kind of a decade guy.
Yeah.
As one of the better pitchers in the decade.
Definitely.
Never
the best pitcher on his team ever.
Well, he had to be a one in Baltimore. No.
Well, I mean,
not on the Yankees. He wasn't.
On those good Yankee
but
teams,
solid too.
Always behind Clemens or whoever.
Now I'm a little afraid, since you didn't know who Don Cornelius was, that you're not going to know who Lee Smith was.
Lee Smith? How do you compare Don Cornelius to Lee Smith?
Well, Chuck over there made it seem like, all right, Lee Smith. I don't know if he deserves to be there.
I just don't think he should be in.
I don't think he should be in either, but I knew him.
He was he's generational. He was during the decade when he came in.
He was a very good closer.
He was all right.
Very good. He was very good.
Same thing with Harold Baines.
I agree with that.
All right player.
Yeah.
Yeah, but Harold Baines could hit. He had like Rod Carew.
Up to the hype.
Well, he was on terrible teams. They weren't great teams, and he was kind of a Rod Carew-ish kind of hitter.
He was also he did field, because you brought up that he kind of did field.
He played center field.
He was Lonnie Smith.
Lonnie Smith on skates.
Lonnie Smith.
Yeah, they call him skates.
Harold Baines had a little bit of Lonnie Smith in him.
Gosh, you guys are tough.
I don't think he belongs.
Now, you think Edgar Martinez is happy about the DH?
I think so. Yes. Yep.
But what a player, right?
Yes, great hitter.
Great hitter. I mean,
better hitter than Baines was.
No doubt. And he had power.
And he had a little pop.
Yeah.
I mean, he played in the Superdome, but yeah, he was hitting home runs.
Did you read this week that Manny Machado was all mad at some of the MLB Network guys?
What was he upset about?
He was mad that he felt that Eric Burns and Dan Plesac pick on him, and they give those guys give other players breaks of things. He says if I did something wrong, those two guys would be all over me.
Why do they think they're picking on him?
Because here was a quote from Machado. Effing Plesac, Machado said, "Oh my God, this guy Plesac and Burns, biggest tools out there. I don't know what they don't know what they're talking about over there. They got to talk about something. At least they got to protect their people." So they got into that whole thing about Marcinick, who I guess he threw at that whole thing last week with the Angels and stuff. So, but obviously they don't like Manny Machado. Machado's a hell of a player.
Listen, we knew there might be personality issues with him when they signed him. That was part of the package. I mean, we talk about this all the time. These players we were talking about with the Nets, right, with Kyrie. So we understand that's part of the package.
And you talk about playing both sides of the scenario here. Buzz Selig says Hank Aaron, not Barry Bonds, is the home run king.
You know what? John, thank you. Even though I agree with that statement.
No, but he didn't know what was going on.
You just stole my thunder.
Right.
There are a few people I dislike or don't respect more than Bud Selig.
Right.
Because in my opinion, he ruined the sport. He allowed all this to happen.
Yeah, like I didn't know about it.
He was the enabler all these years.
Yeah, go ahead.
Steroids save baseball as much as
By the way, I don't disagree with you. By the way, I don't disagree with the McGuire and the Sosa thing and all that got it juiced up.
Don't get me wrong, they cheated.
They cheated,
but they saved the game.
But I don't think Selig, who's a Milwaukee guy, by the way, right, and was a Milwaukee guy when Hank Aaron played for the Braves in Milwaukee.
That's true. It's a good point.
And he brought Aaron back for the Brewers.
That's a great point.
And so, that being the case, but don't come out and say that. No. That's an oxymoron.
You nailed it, John. I thought I was going to go off on a rant here, but you stole it from me because you are 100%. You nailed it.
Hey, Chuck, your Yankees picked up this Terrence Gore. You better look out.
What?
I don't know.
The guy's going to be a pitch runner in September.
Yeah, but would he make? I wonder if he'd make the team.
Yeah, when rosters expand.
Oh, when rosters expand, right? Yeah.
But I seen people on social media saying, "Oh, because they got Gore, that means that Florial or Frazier."
Oh, that's ridiculous. That's ridiculous.
What does a pitch runner have to do with them being traded?
That was the Royals. We got this guy. We don't want him anymore. Do you want him? Right. That's all that was. Right. So interesting there. I wanted to go over something with you guys and kind of. I don't like to ever skip around, but I kind of wanted to go over these. They came out with something this week that NFL teams that have the most pressure on them coming on in this
year. What does that mean, though?
Well, as in, I guess, being successful in making the playoffs.
Okay.
All right. Well, I'm going to give you don't steal the thunder. Let me go through this. Now they have all 32 teams. I'm not going through the 32 teams. So let's
give us the top 5.
How about top 10? All right. We'll go top 10 there. All right.
Can't wait.
All right. So the number 10 team under pressure is the Washington Redskins.
What?
Now, so that's when I read some of these articles, I'm like, have you done any due diligence when you're?
Come on.
This is like last week when I said that they said that the Giants had a better offense than the Atlanta Falcons did. Really? Let's see. The Falcons have receivers, they have running backs, they got a little bit of everything. But
So I have 2 theories on this list.
Yeah. Which list are you talking about? Last week's or this week?
No.
All right. Right.
So my first theory is
You have the same list I have?
No. This is just clickbait.
It is.
That's the first
No
theory.
doubt.
It is.
The second theory is how do you even count like 32 teams having pressure on them?
Yeah.
That's the first question I asked John. What does that mean, pressure?
Right. So maybe it's just the type of thing where there's maybe 4 real
Well,
teams
no.
that have pressure.
Well,
and then
no.
The rest is just,
I read it wrong. It's who are feeling the most heat.
I don't get it.
Meaning their fan base,
First of all,
meaning ownership to the coaches, whatever it could be.
But I don't get that because we don't even know who their quarterback is to start the season. I mean,
Right.
is it Alex Smith?
No, Alex Smith's not going to play this year.
So then, okay, exactly. So then, exactly. So
All right.
then what's the pressure?
Well, I don't know. We're gonna let's go through the list here.
they've been so bad for so many
And I
That
think
would be
that's it.
quarterback.
I think that could be Gruden under pressure. I
Right.
think it could be a lot of things. All
Okay.
right. So Washington was 10 until you guys.
All right, fair enough. All right, let's go. Let's go.
All right. So we got Washington at 10 under pressure.
Let me guess, Dallas is going to be in the list.
Hold on here.
Probably. Now they have to pay Zeke, who wants to hold out. You see that?
Oh, no, I didn't see that. He wants to hold down now?
He has 2 years left on his contract, and he wants to hold out.
You know, that guy, I usually don't say this, but that one might be one guy who's more trouble than he's worth.
Who?
Zeke.
Oh, right.
That guy's a head case.
A
Yeah,
bit.
he's a real head case.
A bit. All right. So number 9 is the Pittsburgh Steelers. I can understand them being under their head coach
Yep.
being under pressure, and that they didn't sign the running back. They didn't bring him back.
True.
And he also traded
Right. So
Right.
number 8 is the Green Bay Packers.
Okay.
All right. New coaching, new coaching staff. Number 7 is the Carolina Panthers.
Oh, without a doubt.
Ron Rivera under some scrutiny there. Number 6, this makes sense, is the Minnesota Vikings. You know, they were heavy favorites to go to the Super Bowl a few years ago. I don't want to hear about it. All right.
Leslie's dialing in now.
Oh, he probably is. We've got at number 5, which I think I know who number 5 is. At number 5 is the Jacksonville Jaguars. That makes sense.
Okay.
They were how much were they everybody's sexy pick last year, right? And what they do win 4 games?
Yeah, because you just can't trust Blake Bortles as your quarterback.
Number 4 is the Atlanta Falcons. No doubt about it.
All right.
No doubt. No doubt about it. Listen, the Falcons, if healthy, I told you, and I'm not being a homer when I tell you this. If they're healthy, I expect them to play in an NFC Championship game this year. If healthy.
Fair enough.
They've got all the tools. If healthy, they should get. And Dan Quinn's under pressure.
They also just signed, what's his face, Deion Jones.
They signed Deion Jones this week, and next Julio is next. We got them all signed up, but mainly the and Neal, the safety, is going to be next. Also, the Falcons have a good young defensive core. I like it. Very good. So, but Dan Quinn, you know why he's under pressure?
Because he blew the Super Bowl.
Well, that's always going to be the pressure. He's the defensive coordinator. They fired defensive coordinators, and now he's the defensive coordinator. So kind of a put up, shut up thing. Number 3 is the Dallas Cowboys.
Oh, shocker.
Of course.
Right?
But
So
now, if you're the Cowboys, what do you do with Zeke? Because not only do you got to
you have such a thing with that guy.
you got to pay Cooper, you got to pay Prescott.
Cooper's not under contract?
This is his walk year.
Oh, wow. Wow.
You got to pay Dak. Then you got to play the guys on the defensive side of the ball.
Right.
DeMarcus Lawrence. You got to
That
pay
that linebacker, right?
You have to pay the corner. I think it's Brian Jones, right? Something like that.
Yeah.
What do you do if you're Dallas?
It's hard. Managing a cap in football is extremely hard.
Cooper turned around their season last year. I mean, Cooper really was responsible. You got to hang on to Cooper. Dak, I don't know about Dak.
By the way, he's
I'm
still
not sold on
young.
him
He's
yet.
still
I'm
young.
not sure. I'd
What
like
is
to
this?
see one more year.
Is this going to be his 3rd year starting?
Dak's a good game manager.
Right.
He can't. We all know he can't throw the ball downfield.
But if you're gonna go, but he can't be a guy where you go into an offensive shootout with, or if you're down and you need a comeback, he's not the guy.
I don't know about him.
But I think he's solid. He's solid.
But for the money he wants, it's not worth it.
Right. That's my point. Is he a $20 million a year guy?
Now, this is stupid because of what Ryan just told us. The New York Giants are the number 2 team under pressure. And I'm like, really? But when you have the beat writer saying they're going to be 4-12. I'm sure you do, Mr. Jets fan.
You know why?
No, it doesn't
because
make sense.
Gettleman came in, screwed everything up, traded Odell for a bag of balls. Then they
Back to the balls.
Then
thing,
they
yeah.
reached for Daniel Jones.
Yes, they did.
I'm still disagreeing with you guys on that, but
They went
okay.
down to 17, took and so defensive lineman. So what's Gettleman's plan? Just like how you asked the Giants.
No,
here.
I agree with you, but I think that gives them no pressure.
Right, that's what I'm
They're
thinking.
ranked 27th or 28th in the league. ESPN has them ranked like 28th.
And what did he say? He said their offense is better than their defense. And when that's the case,
That's not
that's
saying much, though.
right.
When your GM comes in and says that you're a win now team and doesn't admit to rebuilding, you got pressure.
Well, I think Ryan Dunleavy was.
He's been hanging out with the Mets GM.
Yes, too much. Come get us.
Come get us.
But this all comes down to the PSLs. The Giants do not want to commit to a rebuild because their season ticket holders aren't just paying for the tickets anymore. They're investing tens of thousands of dollars in that stadium.
That makes sense.
Because they were rebuilding 10, 15, 20 years ago. They stopped. And there were a couple of times during the past 7, 8 years where there were perfect opportunities to rebuild, and they forewent that choice. And it was a bad decision a couple of times.
Wait, now time out. I think you could rebuild in football because it doesn't take as long as in other sports. In football, you see a lot of teams go from worst to first.
You could do it if you do it the right way.
Right.
The Giants have yet to commit to doing it the right way.
That's why you can't keep a mediocre team and keep trying to go for it.
That's my point. I agree.
And you know whose team is? They're not on this list, but is your team the Jets under pressure? No.
See, I don't see that. Why should they should be on that list? Year 2 of Darnold.
Actually, you know what?
You got the running back.
Yes.
Well, I'm asking you as a fan.
I say yes because you got a new head coach.
By the way, is 9-7 work for you?
Yes.
Okay, that's fair.
I mean, that's pretty sad. You got one of the best running backs in the league. You have hopefully a great quarterback of the future. Year 2.
A little weak at the receiver spot.
How the Giants were 2 or 3, and the Jets are not on the list. That's ridiculous.
I believe 9-7 works because the Jets still have holes on that roster. They don't have a number 2 corner. Their line is not the best.
They have a good.
By the way, you know who wrote this article was Jason Lincoln-Fora, the guy who's on CBS.
Yeah.
So
fire him.
It's not like he's not a knowledgeable guy. I mean,
I don't know. The Redskins 10. I don't get that. Giants 2, Redskins 10. That I don't really know.
And as Johnny just said, their receivers are a little but who knows what the Jets can do.
I'm looking forward to watching the Jets this year.
I'm very excited.
Me too.
I'm looking forward to.
We haven't had a solid skill position player since. You want to go back to like Curtis Martin.
This might be the best running back you've had in a long time.
Yeah.
And certainly running back quarterback combo, it's exciting.
I know. I can't wait.
That's a heck of a running back quarterback combo.
I cannot wait for this season.
And you have a good defense too. That's a good defense.
Young defense.
And how they get a draft picks. That's what the Giants are not doing.
Well, listen.
I think the key for the Jets on defense is if Marcus May can stay healthy. Because then you can play him as a center field safety and have Jamal Adams do more either on the line or in the box.
That's the key to any football team, period.
Right.
Staying healthy. All right, Fitness 1440, located in Livingston, New Jersey at 277 Eisenhower Parkway. Fitness 1440 is here to get you results. From the state-of-the-art equipment to Target 24, the ultimate 24 full-body circuit. You can depend on them to personally help you achieve your fitness goals. Each and every client is unique, and their personal trainers will design a personalized workout that's right for you and for you to achieve your goals. So many options available to you to help you get in shape, including structured classes and challenges. If you're in Livingston, West Orange, Florham Park, East Hanover, you just found the best gym out there. Visit them online at fitness1440nj.com. And while you're on their website, click on the link for a free trial and see for yourself what Fitness 1440 is all about. Tell them Johnny from Talking Sports sent you, or give them a call at 973-992-1444. That's Fitness 1440. They'll help you achieve your fitness goal. And if you notice, I mean, I'm looking like fit.
You look good, John.
I love when it rains, because when it rains, I go inside to work out, and I hop in my car and I head to Fitness 1440. I hit the weights. You know, the Giants or Jets may need a safety.
I can see it. John, you're almost as big as Lloyd.
Oh, and speaking of big, so, you know, Johnny went out and did some investigating this week, right?
Mm-hmm.
And I, believe it or not, I got, and Izzy, if you're listening, I got the phone number, the cell number of the Bagel Boss.
Oh, my God.
And I invited him on the show. I texted him. I left him a voicemail because after everything that happened, right? After everything that, he signed a deal to fight in Atlantic City.
I told you the whole thing was staged.
I definitely believe that. I believe that. And you know what? He's puny.
Yeah.
He's puny. You don't get back to me. You can get back to me and say, no, I'm not interested. So now you were 5'0", right? Now you're 4'5". Now you're smaller. And I was being gracious, and he probably thought I was just like every other goon that's calling him, blowing up his phone, want to interview him. I was actually going to have him call in. Yeah. We were going to talk about the scenario. And Chuck, I do believe you. I think the whole thing was staged.
So now, John, permission to prank call him?
No doubt. But the thing is, you got to get through. He don't take my calls. It goes right to voicemail. He has his cleaning service, right? And I left him a voicemail. I'm thinking about. Matter of fact, you know what? I think we should call him now.
Okay, let's do it.
That guy's probably sleeping.
Let's do it.
Wait, I'll tell you what. Somebody, I'm going to give you this number. Hold on here. Hold on. Let me. For our Facebook watchers, I'm sorry for 1 second here because I'm gonna give you something. Hold on 1 second here. Let me find this. He had one of those 94. Oh, but I'm not going to give you the number. That's probably not a good idea.
Dox the guy.
Hold on here. Let me find this number here. Yeah, I'll tell you what. Yeah, let's take a quick break. Izzy tells me let's take a quick break. I'll find this number.
Nice.
And we're going to call Puny.
Yes.
How do you not call me back? You're listening to Talking Sports on a Saturday evening with me, John Friedman. Give us a call on the Gotta Go to Mo's call-in line at 800-848-WABC. We'll be right back.
Advertisers trying to reach potential customers in today's fast-paced, technology-driven world are having a difficult, if not impossible, time figuring out how to do so. There are so many options, from the traditional media to the practically limitless digital and social platforms that are available, making it harder than ever for businesses
Chuck,
to get their message
here's the
in front
number.
of the right audience.
Tell me when you're ready.
However, and it's called
Ready?
SCG Advertising and Public Relations.
Do I have to bring you in a pen?
SCG is a full-service advertising
All right.
and public
His
relations
number is
that can help you navigate through today's
where'd it go
chaotic
here?
media landscape and reach your potential customers.
Where'd it
We help
go?
our clients strengthen their relationships,
Hold on.
reputations, and brands by integrating your message across
I
the
just
entire
had the
media
damn
spectrum.
thing. Oh,
Folks at SCG
631
understand the options available to advertisers and will work with you to develop the best creative and media plan for your business.
7239.
Learn more about us
Got
by
it?
visiting scgadv.com. That's scgadv.com.
And his name's Chris, right?
Yeah.
Mornings with Bernie and Sid. You gotta go. What else is there to say? Afternoons with Ben Shapiro.
Getting the base revved up. Close only counts in horseshoes and hand grenades.
Wasn't we supposed to have a fight in Atlantic City tonight?
Oh, is it tonight? But I didn't know if it was tonight. I think.
Saturday night.
Yeah, I don't know if it was tonight though.
Maybe that's why he didn't get back to you.
Oh, maybe, but we're still gonna call him.
All right. Hey, John. Come back to you.
But can we hear can the listeners hear your voice? Hear it go on voicemail?
We'll just have about a minute when we come back.
Oh, so we'll do it after the break then. After news on top. We'll do this after the news on top.
WABCRadio.com. Log on. Get more. WABCRadio.com. Radio 77 WABC with Bernie and Sid in the morning.
And now we have Joe Biden. A creepy
I'm going to talk about it, and then and then we'll hear Chuck call after the break.
Joe's never done a blue-collar job in his life. Moderate Joe. Joe's never been moderate in his life.
That's fine.
Joe declares this president one of the great racists in American history.
The great one. Mark Levin. Weeknight 6 to 9. Talk Radio 77 WABC.
All right, we're back. I've got the phone number, so when we got news at the top of the hour, and then we will pipe in. We'll call this phone number and see. Chuck seems to think this fight he had in Atlantic City was tonight.
Oh, wow.
So I don't know. I don't think it would have been done that quickly to set all that up, but we're going to find out. So after the break, news on the top of the hour, we'll reach out to Chris, and we'll take it from there. Maybe he'll pick up the phone. And if you want to give us a call on the Gotta Go to Mo's call-in line at 800-848-9222. That's 800-848-WABC. It's news on the top of the hour. We'll be right back. I'm surprised we haven't got calls tonight. We had them and then they hung up. Right. I told you the rep said to me today, but don't get too excited about those numbers. There could be trends of why. I'm like, what? Lola Nash?
High story. The correspondent Britt Conway reports the heat dome
That was
could
September
trigger
7th.
some other threats.
That same
Right.
system creating the heat wave and
Did
humidity
he fight like a
is
little
prompting
other
the
guy?
threat of tornadoes
I was afraid he would
across parts
challenge
of the
me.
Midwest. In Michigan, thousands
I was gonna
were left
pummel
without
that guy.
power after thunderstorms toppled trees which
So
brought down
News 12,
power
did you see
lines.
the interview with News 12 with him?
Lighting up the
You'll
radar
have to Google
map.
that. You can really see how small he is. You couldn't tell from the bagel thing the way it was, but he lied on that News 12 thing. He said the guy attacked me. No, first of all, you bumped the first guy. You bumped the first guy. And you said to the second guy, I'm not scared of you, yada, yada, yada. I think it was totally,
as the timetable.
By 2024, we are planning to put the first woman and the next man on the surface of the moon in the South Pole. And this will be an enormous achievement. I don't think, the current generation is really ready yet to see this like we did. Or rather, I did, and many others, of course, 50 years ago.
On Saturday, there were more demonstrations calling for Puerto Rico Governor Ricardo Rossello's resignation following last weekend's leaks of offensive private messages between the governor and his inner circle.
These protests are small, no doubt about it. They're noisy, they're dedicated, they're profane sometimes, they're imaginative, they're young at times, they're diverse, but they don't have the numbers that organizers hope they might see out on the streets on Monday.
That's correspondent Nick Payton-Walsh. Britain has told the UN Security Council that the British flag tanker seized by Iran was approached by Iranian forces when it was in Omani territorial waters and that the action constitutes illegal interference. The UK is thinking about freezing Iran's assets because of the seizure. I'm Evan Haining.
Attention all authors. Page Publishing is looking for authors. Have you written a book and want to get it published? Page Publishing will get your book into bookstores and for sale online at Amazon, Apple iTunes, and other outlets. They handle all aspects of the publishing process for you. Printing, cover art, publicity, copyright, and editing. Call 800-501-3689 now for your free author submission kit. That's 800-501-3689 for your free author submission kit. Again, 800-501-3689.
On Westwood One Podcast Network.
On the next episode of News World, we're celebrating the 50th anniversary of the Apollo 11 mission to the moon with the man who was there, Dr. Buzz Aldrin.
Failure is not an option. Maybe a cute phrase, but if you believe that,
It's actually been a good show tonight, despite no call. How's your ride in, all right?
Yeah. This is News World.
I reached out to Regal this week, by the way. Regal Bank.
Oh.
No soccer show.
All right, now coming back to you shortly.
My contact.
But now I understand, George, you're into foot fetish and you're into...
No, I'm not into foot fetish. I just happen to be a good listener. And yesterday, Juliet said, "Hey, it's okay to drool over my
I like
feet."
Juliet.
And I said,
I listen to that. Yeah, if I'm on the car, I'll listen.
For your middays. Curtis and Juliet. Weekdays noon to 3. Talk Radio 77 WABC.
All right, we're back. We're talking sports on a Saturday evening with me, John Friedman. Give me a call on the Gotta Go to Mo's call-in line at 800-848-9222. That's 800-848-WABC. Hey, Chuck, why don't you get us updated on Major League scores and finals around Major League Baseball and whatever other sports is going on tonight?
All right, Johnny. So the Marlins and Dodgers are tied at 6 in the bottom of the 8th. Angels and Mariners are tied at 2 in the top of the 9th. Earlier today, the Yankees beat the Rockies 11-5. Cubs beat the Padres 6-5. Mets all over the Giants 11-4. White Sox beat the Rays 2-1 in 11. Blue Jays beat the Tigers 7-5. Red Sox routed the Orioles 17-6. Pirates beat the Phillies 5-1. Royals blanked the Indians 1-0. A's beat the Twins 5-4. Astros beat the Rangers 6-1. Reds over the Cardinals 3-2. Nationals beat your Braves 5-3. And the Brewers beat the Diamondbacks 8-3.
I tell you, I'm worried about the Braves and the Nationals. The Nationals have good starting pitching. They have good starting pitching. That only puts us like 5.5 up. We got a long way to go in baseball, by the way.
The Nationals were my preseason pick to win the division.
Really?
Yeah.
They got good pitching. I'm assuming that they think that they're in the wild card chase, obviously.
Yeah, no, they are. I believe they hold the first wild card spot.
And by the way, jumping over the American League, you got Cleveland's only 4 back of Minnesota. I think Cleveland's going to end up winning that division. They got experience. We got a long way to go. They've got good pitching. It should be interesting. The Yankees are breezing in the American League East, totally breezing. In the West,
the Astros are breezing.
The Astros are breezing, but Oakland's been playing pretty good.
Yeah, but the Astros have such a big lead.
Yeah, they do in the division. No, and that division is going to be like. But I got to tell you, Washington and Philadelphia is not out of it either. By the way, they're only 7.5 back, and we got all of August and the rest of July. We got all. It could be. And the Dodgers are just cruising out in the West. So
yeah, because every other team is like 500.
Except the Giants have come on. What a nice little come on they've had lately. But so we'll see. We got a long way to go in baseball, an absolutely long way. So, all right, are we able to try that number?
Yeah, hold on, give me a minute. I'm gonna have to dial it.
All right, call that number. I just want to see what comes. Maybe he picks up. How do you not get back to me? All you gotta do is get back to me and say, "Hey, I'm not able to do it." I was going to be a nice guy, promote his. When's this fight, Jeff? You said
September 7th. Come on, Bagel Guy, call in.
And who's he fighting? Does
That's a good question. I got to look it up. I don't know.
When you saw the News 12 interview with him from the street, first of all, he got into a whole thing that those guys that he started it all. He bumped the first guy, and the second guy he says, "I'm not afraid of you, whatever whatever." But when I saw him on a News 12 interview, it was totally different. It's like they were harassing me, yada yada yada. No, that's not what happened. And then, as Chuck said, you got the YouTube channel with all these kind of different things.
Yeah.
Now, did he quote unquote set this thing up? I don't know if he quote unquote set it up, but he certainly. By the way, give him credit. Got over 20 million views on this thing. Looks like he got a gig in Atlantic City to get pummeled publicly.
Well, the other guy he's facing though is also.
Is he a short guy?
Yes, I believe they're both small. It's going to be a featherweight battle.
They should get. Well, the guy's passed away, but they could have got like him, this other guy, and maybe 3 other small guys, and had Andre the Giant against this guy. That would have been kind of funny. So no luck there, Chuck. Chuck's afraid to call him.
No, I called him and it didn't even ring. It went straight to voicemail.
But I wanted to hear. We wanted to hear the voicemail. That's the whole point.
I don't think that we could do it because I can't put the phone call on hold right away.
No, but can't you take the phone like you're on the phone and just and like where you hear it, put it up to the microphone?
It's gonna come out really bad.
Let me try it.
All right, hold on.
I promise you, I'll protect you. He's not gonna beat you up.
Hold on, you're gonna have to give me a minute.
Help him up out there, is he? It's like the first time you ran a radio board back there. The audience, I wanted to hear everybody hear this message. He has a cleaning service.
Yes.
And I can't remember what the name of it is, but you can definitely tell it's him. It's his voice.
Yeah.
And everything so this is maybe payback for not answering my phone call.
Hi, this is Chris of Clearview Cleaning Service. I'm unavailable at the moment. If you leave your name and number, I'll get back to you as soon as possible. Thanks for calling and have a great day.
So anyway, there goes. Just wanted to at least listen. The guy has a daytime job. It's great. Lives in a van.
Lives in his car, right?
Matter of fact, I even saw one of the YouTube videos I saw of him is that he there was a police officer in his town he lived in that was harassing him. That was an actual police officer, and another police officer had to come in and deal with the situation or whatever.
Well, who was videoing it? Who got that on video?
He videoed it or something. I don't know how. I don't know. If you look on his video, if you look on his YouTube channel, you'll see. I perused his YouTube channel and saw that.
John, own your own business and live out of your car.
Crazy. I wonder where he showers. I guess maybe he goes home to his parents' house to shower. Interesting.
Who knows?
So, Chuck, did you leave a message or no? You were afraid to leave a message. You didn't leave a message.
Nah, I'm terrified of the guy.
Oh, so let's talk a little NFL news real quickly. So a lot of backlash with this with this Tyreek Hill. Now the fantasy football owners love it, right? But this was an investigation of the way him and his wife treated their kids. Yeah. Did you know that?
I just don't understand how the guy gets no punishment whatsoever.
And the cops or the people who were doing the investigation said there wasn't enough evidence. The investigation went on for, I don't know, 4 or 5 months. And I guess, wasn't there a situation in the NFL a few years ago? I want to say in the last 2 years or something. It was either in football or in baseball where the league disciplined somebody, but they were not disciplined legally. Adrian Peterson. Yeah, that's what happened?
Yeah.
So what was it? Was it domestic?
I think he was hitting a child.
But was never legally in trouble.
I don't remember him getting into legal trouble.
So thank you, because I remember that was the scenario. Yeah. And so wouldn't this be the kind of thing where the NFL takes a look at this thing?
I would think they have this policy.
Also, if I'm not mistaken, Aroldis Chapman wasn't disciplined legally because he was proven innocent, if my memory serves me correct, but yet the MLB still suspended him.
Josh Brown too. Josh Brown got suspended.
Yeah, why?
For beating his girlfriend.
Right. So interesting. Does the NFL?
It's happened more than once, actually.
Right. So does the NFL get involved in this?
They have taken that position that they are now getting involved.
Oh, they are? Because I read in this article they didn't sound like they were going to get involved.
It's happened, right?
They also said that they were going to leave it open if any
other evidence comes in.
Comes to light.
Well, if there's no other evidence that has come to light by now, and it's your own kids.
What did they do to Ray Lewis?
You mean when the Atlanta thing?
Yeah,
the Atlanta murders?
Did anything happen to him?
Well, yeah, he that guy got off scot.
He got away, literally.
He really got away.
Maybe not with murder, but something bad.
He was it sounded from everything I read and back in the day, I think accomplice was a good word. Right? I changed his clothes. Yeah. The whole thing. So interesting that. And I'm sure he's a nice guy. He seems like a nice guy on television or whatever. Not that you can always tell that way.
Caught up in something, and that's what happened.
I guess, but man, that's a long time ago. But that was an issue.
Michael Vick, nothing happened to him, right? Illegally, did anything happen to him legally?
Sure.
Legally?
Yeah.
I don't remember what happened to him.
He
didn't go to jail.
Well, yes, he did.
He did go to jail.
He was He was in the one in Kansas, the worst jail possible.
I forgot about that. You're right. I forgot.
Yeah, worst jail possible. And you know what's interesting about Michael Vick? And I don't understand this at all. And Arthur Blank is all about character. The Atlanta Falcons honor him. And as a Falcon fan, I never understood that.
Now they honored him after he left.
Yeah, he's been back and they've had a Michael Vick Day and they've honored him during a game.
Wow.
All sorts of stuff. And I just never understood, why would that be the case? He set your franchise back.
Yeah.
The franchise had to sue him to get a signing bonus back.
Yeah.
And I can understand second chances and all of that kind of stuff. But to bring the guy back and have him ride on a car during the game, waving to people.
I didn't realize they did that.
Yeah, it did not sit well with me.
And it's strange because what did he really accomplish there? Yeah, he was a great athlete, but what did he accomplish?
Nothing. And by the way, the best thing that ever happened to the Atlanta Falcons, and I hate to say it, was that whole thing happening because you're not going to get Matt Ryan. Yeah.
Exactly.
So, and interesting enough is they're pretty lucky. They had one bad year.
Right.
With Joey Harrington at the helm.
Right. So then you have Green Bay.
And Byron Leftwich
at
the helm. One bad year, and they finished with the third pick and got Matt Ryan.
It's amazing. And it wasn't like they were.
And they went 11-5 the next year.
Yeah, it's amazing.
Wait, now in the case of Aaron Hernandez, wasn't he legally found innocent?
Only on one. He was only found innocent on one count or something. I think he was.
Then they were gonna.
He was found. He was found guilty of murder.
Yeah, he was in prison when he killed himself.
Yeah.
Yeah, but I
he left a note for his gay lover.
Oh, is that true?
He did. Yeah.
I did not know that.
He did.
In prison.
In prison.
Somebody in prison.
In prison.
Wow.
Yeah.
But I thought that they were gonna take him to trial again. That he was only in custody.
No,
he was in prison.
I know, but
there were so many counts
but
against him.
You remember with him that the scans of his head showed he had CTE.
Yeah, no doubt about it.
So that stuff it's crazy.
But it doesn't give you the right to go murder somebody.
It could mess you up.
It may
really mess you.
I guess it could, but
Gastineau's not doing well.
But wait a minute. He was in trouble at the University of Florida.
Yeah.
Before he was in the NFL, was in gangs there too.
Well, I'm not saying he didn't have problems.
My mother would call him another beauty.
What you also got to look at it as he was probably playing football since he was like 5 years old.
Yeah, no doubt.
To the head, so who really knew?
No, I guess so.
Like that big blow to really set him over the top.
It could be, but listen, you can't commit murder.
No, you can't.
No, that's what.
But these guys do get messed up, and what is the NFL doing about that stuff?
I think it's still under.
Not much.
I think that they're trying in regards to safety, and they're trying in regards to the way the helmets are, and they're trying for all this stuff. Listen, it's football, and if you choose to play football, it should be an asterisk in your helmet or whatever that says you choose to do this. There are risks involved. And I'm not. It's not like I'm not being sympathetic. There are. This whole new trying to think to tackle properly and all that stuff. I don't know if I believe in all that. And it's terrible. There's no doubt the thing with Junior Seau, the whole thing is horrible.
No question.
But there's a risk of playing football.
Yeah.
And I
think it's such a big issue now because players are more athletic than they were back in the day. And,
bigger and stronger.
And they aren't wearing as much equipment as they wore back in the day that they do now.
Yeah, no, there's no
the
question.
pads are smaller because it's all about speed and agility. And you don't see even guys wearing the horse collar or anything.
Yeah, but did you ever see that movie, by the way? I never saw that movie, the concussion movie. Did you ever see that?
I've never seen it either.
Good.
I gotta see. I haven't seen it. I actually really would like to see that movie.
All right, let me give you some names that could get traded, pitchers that could get traded this week in Major League Baseball, all right? One is for the San Diego Padres is Kirby Yates.
Yes.
He could be traded this week.
I'm dead if he gets traded. He's on my fantasy team.
And by the way, he's got terrific numbers. Listen to these numbers. He's got a 1.07 ERA. His whip is .81. He's pitched 42 innings. He's got 9 bases on balls and 67 strikeouts.
The Padres were in the race for a while. So in my
a
fantasy
long time ago.
A few weeks ago. Wow. So I traded for Kirby Yates, and my league went nuts on me, making fun of me because they're like, nah, they're going to be sellers. I'm like, no, you'll see. And I'm wrong. They're going to sell him. There's no question.
I think he's still going to get dealt. I know he's on the injured list, and I know you heard that there's not much time for him to get traded, but I still think Zach Wheeler could get traded. 4.69 ERA with a whip of 1.28. He's pitched 119 innings. He's 34 bases on balls and 130 strikeouts. It's a lot. It's a nice ratio.
If he's injured, he's not getting
He
traded.
will be traded.
He will. I think so too. I think there's a week left when he comes off the IL. Is that what they call it? The IL?
Yeah.
And that may be just enough time. And he was put on the IL because he was tired or something. What was it?
He had a shoulder injury.
A shoulder injury. Okay. Then you got of Cincinnati, Tanner Roark. He's got a 3-point starting pitcher, 3.99, a 1.37 ERA. He's pitched 97 innings. This is excellent. His bases on balls, 31 to 95 strikeouts.
He's a good pitcher. He's a solid pitcher.
Somebody like the Twins will end up getting him.
Yeah, I agree with you. Something like that.
Arizona. By the way, you like Arizona's road uniforms?
No.
Have you seen those?
Yes.
They're too dark.
No,
They're very dark. All right, Robbie Ray's a starting pitcher. He's got a 3.92 ERA, 1.30 ERA. He's pitched 117 innings. His bases on ball and strikeout ratios is 57 to 152. Not too bad.
But he walks a lot of batters.
Matthew Boyd of the Detroit Tiger starting pitchers. This is a nice ERA. You see an American League ERA at 3.95. Not too shabby.
Okay.
A whip of 1.14. Innings pitched 114. This is very good. His bases on balls 24. Strikeouts 152.
He will
not be traded. All right. Trevor Bauer of Cleveland. Everybody keeps talking about his name. Was he the All-Star MVP too?
No, that was Shane Bieber.
Oh, Shane Bieber. Okay. He's got a 3.65 ERA. That's excellent. Cleveland's in the race, so they're not trading him.
They will trade him.
Really? Didn't you just say he wouldn't get traded?
No, they will trade him. If they don't trade him at the deadline, they'll trade him in the offseason.
All right. Well, we're only talking deadline stuff here. One thing at a time. We got whip of 1.19, innings pitched 138. His bases on balls is 54 and 160 strikeouts.
Yeah, but he's going to get a haul. I mean, he's an ace. This
Yeah.
is not Matthew Boyd. This is a legit ace.
Where's the other starter on Cleveland? That's what was it? Kluber?
Kluber has a broken arm that he's recovering from.
Coming back or no?
Yeah. He threw a bullpen the other day, and Carlos Carrasco is battling leukemia.
Now, right, and that's a shame. Right. Now, here's the steal guy, and I'm hoping that the Braves get this guy, former Atlanta Brave. If you may know or may not know, don't say it. Chuck, you were just about to say it. Don't say it. Former Atlanta Brave with a 2.73 ERA. Mike Minor with Texas, 2.73 ERA. Very good in the American League. 1.16 ERA, 122 innings pitched. 44 bases on balls and 121 strikeouts.
So you want
He's getting dealt. If it's not somewhere, he's getting dealt. Yeah, no, he will. Does Madison Baumgarten get traded? If they're trading him, you're gonna have to give up the house.
How many games out of the Giants?
I want to say I looked 4.
God, how do you trade him 4 out?
At a wild card.
How do you trade him?
I don't think you do, but
yeah, fans will go nuts. At least in New York they would. I don't know about San Francisco.
Now for him, his ERA 3.86. That's fine. His WHIP is 1.22. Is 116 innings, 25 bases on balls, and 121 strikeouts. This is somebody I saw the Atlanta Braves were interested in. I do not want him. I don't know why everybody's ERA is low, but everybody likes this guy.
Because he's great in the playoffs.
Marcus Stroman?
No, not Stroman. Baumgarten.
No, I know, but I moved on to Stroman.
I don't want
3.25 ERA. That's very good in the American League. 1.27 WHIP, 110 innings pitched, 34 bases on balls, and 88 strikeouts. All right, not like off the charts.
I thought he was hurt though. He's back.
Yeah, he's back. He pitched last night.
How did he do?
He did pretty good. I think he went 7 innings, 1 earned, or
okay.
something along those lines.
All right,
now, if the Mets don't make this deal, if they don't trade Noah Syndergaard, I'm going to tell you why. He's got a 4.55 ERA, right? So not fabulous. 1.24 WHIP, 112 innings pitched, 30 bases on balls, and 110 strikeouts.
He's been a lot better lately.
The
last 2 starts have been dominant.
That's fine. That's fine. But here's the deal. When do the Mets make the decision they're not going to be in the wild card hunt?
I'm with you.
And I got to believe that they should.
Everyone except Alonso and McNeil. And Rosario.
No, I would only keep Alonso. Trade everybody else.
What do you have against McNeil?
That the fact that he's 27 by the time.
Oh, you're not trading him.
He's making no money. He's going to be a 20 home run. You'll see next year, the year after, he'll be a 20 home run guy.
Stink, so what's the point of even having him?
With those guys, though, with those salaries for Alonso, McNeil, and Rosario, who's really starting to turn into a nice player, Rosario. You got to build around those guys. Those are exactly the kind of guys you build around. I would deal the entire starting rotation. I really would. Deal Matz, deal Syndergaard, deal DeGrom.
You do that, and you're starting from ground zero next year. If you're willing to do that.
Jeff McNeil is 27. By the time that the Mets are done rebuilding and whatnot, and I'll be fair, he'll be 30. All right? So 3 years, okay? Do you really want Jeff McNeil playing on your team when he's 30 years old? Do you think he'll be the same hitter at 30 that he is right now?
Look at Daniel Murphy. The best comp.
Where is Daniel Murphy, by the way?
He's hitting again. He's raking again.
He's on the Rockies. Did he play this week, Chuck? Yeah. Is he hitting?
How old is Daniel Murphy? What, 34, 35?
Daniel Murphy's got to be up there.
I love Daniel
Murphy,
by the way. I've always liked Daniel Murphy.
Me too. Exactly.
Yeah, 27, Chuck. Come on.
He's going to be the guys.
But I don't think you can trade the whole staff.
But you want to try Syndergaard. To me, he's the most valuable piece in that staff because he's making the least. He's the youngest. He's got the hardest fastball.
Right, but he could be the one guy who could bring you something.
He could. I agree with you. I agree with you.
All right, let's take a quick break. Chuck, when we get back, you'll update us quickly on scores and finals. You're listening to Talking Sports on a Saturday evening with me, John Friedman. Give me a call quickly on the Gotta Go to Mo's calling line 800-848. WABC. We got Jeff, we got Izzy, we got Chuck. I'm John Friedman. This is Talking Sports. We'll be right back.
What do you think, Marty? Is sponsored by Brown & Brown Metro. They do insurance, from homeowners, automotive, workers' compensation, business insurance.
So Daniel Murphy came up in 2008 at the age of 23, and he hit 313. The following year, he hit 266, but then missed the following year for that because he got injured.
Right.
So he was still pretty good at a young age. He's not Jeff McNeil hitting the ball at 27. And his value will never be higher than it is right now.
How old was he in 2015?
RE Group
How
is
old
a
was he in
gorgeous
2015?
two-bedroom, two-bath apartment home
Okay,
facing south and east with a magnificent view of the Statue of Liberty and Manhattan skyline at Journal Square. This 1,071 square foot home features an open concept layout with modern design, stainless steel kitchens, quartz countertops, luxuriously
Is there a
appointed
button you
bathrooms,
got to get in?
full-size
I
washer
don't
and
know. I
dryer
really
unit, central heating, cooling,
even over
and
there,
much
you get
more.
like
Their leasing
2015
office is
was
open 7 days a week,
he was
and you
older.
can reach
He was
them
in his
at info
30s.
at journalsquare.com or
He
give
was
them a
30
call
in
at
20,
211-659-7100.
No, that's a big deal.
Check out
I remember he was like Babe Ruth in the playoffs that year. He was 29.
Many doctors in the U.S. and Canada have chosen the Back Institute for their own care. Experts in non-traumatic
The year
spine
before
surgery.
that, he had 13 homers and 78 RBI.
Offices in New York City, Philadelphia, and Beverly Hills.
286. Right. And that's what he was solid year. And then the year before that, he had 291. But that's what McNeil's doing now. The year before that, he had 320 at the age of 26. McNeil's hitting a lot of home runs now. He don't run for that. Everyone hits home runs.
Back Institute.
But I mean,
Just this year.
no, something like that for the past 3 years.
They really can't argue with President Trump when it comes to policy, when it comes to issue. So when he does stupid and hurtful things, you got to go out there once in a while, eat some crow, apologize, and move on. Good. I don't think it's about race. If Kirsten Gillibrand was a freshman congresswoman and she was part of the quote-unquote squad, he would have included. And she's whiter than you and me.
Bernie and Sid in the morning, weekday morning 6 to 10. Talk Radio 77 WABC.
All right, we're back. We're talking sports on a Saturday evening. Actually, it's Sunday morning.
Yep.
About 12:28 Sunday morning. All right, Chuck, get us updated for the final time tonight on scores and finals around Major League Baseball.
All right, Johnny. So the Dodgers just took a lead. I was watching the game. They currently lead the Marlins 10-6 in the bottom of the eighth. Hold on, my phone froze for a minute, so we're going to have to hold on.
How come you don't use the computer when you're doing that? Don't you have a computer there?
It's an older model, so it takes longer.
Oh, what a shock.
I know. Where I should be on the white. All right, here, ready? The Angels are up 6-2 on the Mariners going into the bottom of the ninth. Earlier today, Yankees beat the Rockies 11-5. Cubs over the Padres 6-5. Mets over the Giants 11-4. White Sox beat the Rays 2-1 in 11. Blue Jays beat the Tigers 7-5. Red Sox over the Orioles 17-6. Pirates over the Phillies 5-1. Royals blanked the Indians 1-0. A's over the Twins 5-4. Astros over the Rangers 6-1. Reds beat the Cardinals 3-2. Nationals over the Braves 5-3. And Brewers beat the Diamondbacks 8-3.
All right. So let's do our little weekly roundup here. What do you got going tomorrow, Jeff?
12:30 almost. My wife's asleep, thank God. She's going to be trying to drag me to the beach club tomorrow.
Now, when you say beach club, is that like a place out in Long Island?
I'm not a beach club guy, John.
Does that mean is that something you belong to, or you have to pay to get in a la carte?
It's a good question. We belong to it begrudgingly for the past 2 years. And this year we're going as a guest from my wife's family. I'm just not a beach guy.
Now, at the beach club, obviously, it comes with a cabana?
Yeah.
And a pool?
Yeah.
A pool, too, or no?
Yeah.
All right.
So my kids love the beach. They go into the sand.
Right.
We're cleaning them for days afterwards. We're finding sand in their nails for days and stuff like that.
Well, I got
That's not my thing.
Well, I got a story for you. Stay there. Okay. So, but you're getting dragged there tomorrow morning. Okay. Izzy, what you got going on?
Not too much, brother. Probably just gonna catch up on some sleep.
Yeah, Izzy pulls those overnights, man.
I've been working overnight since Tuesday this week.
Woo. Wow.
And I'm working with my church all week too, vacation Bible school, helping the kids out, playing games with them, and
nice.
Pastor out. So I've been, oh goodness, this week has been pretty crazy, but it's all good though. It's all good.
You know, Izzy, who's energetic, is such a nice fella. You should be working, nice religious man. You should be working the rabbi and the whatever show here.
Oh, the rabbi and the reverend. Oh yeah, you know it's so funny because we used to actually, Bruce and I, we used to work their show in the morning.
No, yeah. When is it? When is that? Saturday or Sunday?
It's a Sunday mornings from 8 to 9 with Rabbi Joseph Tasting.
Well, at least it's not on Shabbos.
It goes into the Sid show. Sid
Sports.
Sports.
Sid Sports Sunday right after work.
Oh, really?
Yeah.
Nice.
It does, yes. He's the rabbi's a great guy.
Yeah.
I love him. I love the Reverend too.
Very nice. Well, Reverend, does he miss church to do that? You have to let the know. You got to let the rabbi know. I think I'm using his headsets.
I'll let him know for you.
Yeah, let him know there. Nice frum guy there using the headset. Chuck, what you got going on?
I gotta work tomorrow.
Where? Oh, where? CBS. Nice. Very nice. You get to cover the golf.
No, we actually got a rodeo.
Oh, by the way, who is leading the? Let's quickly look at the golf. Do you have that, guys? At least we can do is give who's leading the way.
I don't even know.
Nice.
Who even watches golf?
We talking about a rodeo though.
No, well, I have to do this. I don't want to watch it.
All right, so let me tell you about my Sunday.
All right, go ahead.
So my wife is dragging me down. We'll go down to Long Branch tomorrow. We're gonna go to the beach. But here's my problem with the beach, right? My problem. Oh, your buddy Jeremy Rosenfeld's watching the show here.
Hey, Jeremy.
The problem with the beach is that for me, I need a pool. I don't mind going to the beach, and especially on a hot day tomorrow. I need the pool. I just need the pool to cool off on, because I can't cool off on the beach and you come out all sticky and whatever.
Yep.
Whatever. So that'll be our story.
See, I'm with you. That's how I feel too.
All right, looks like we're coming to the end of this week's show. As always, I hope your team wins. I want to thank Jeff, Bruce, Izzy, and Charles behind the glass and making it happen. I want to thank our sponsors. I want to thank our callers. And I especially want to thank you, the listeners. You've been listening to Talking Sports on a Saturday evening. I'm John Friedman. Have a great week, everybody.
Advertisers trying to reach potential customers in today's fast-paced, technology-driven world are having a difficult, if not impossible, time figuring out how to do so. There are so many
I accidentally
options from the
exited out my Facebook that I had going on. I hope it saved it.
platforms that are available, making it harder than ever for businesses to get their message in front
Huh?
of the right audience. There
I
is
do have a
it's
YouTube one too.
Oh, really?
No, I do YouTube because it's Google. I like to keep my Google rankings up.
advertising and public relations agency that can help
Different
you
angle.
navigate through today's chaotic media landscape.